Live from Lincoln and broadcasting across the state of Nebraska, it's the Average Joe Sports Show. This is the place for Husker sports with the biggest names, the best interviews, and all the inside scoops.
I got a front row seat with a big tub of buttered popcorn and a greasy half-live chicken leg.
Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbal.
Welcome to it. Weekend edition is here. It is the Average Joe Sports Show out on the street. We are on 801 R Street, Salt Mine City Brewing. We invite you down, get a cold beer, Nebraska beer from Salt Mine City Brewing. Get a burger, get some munchies, get your voice ready. It is Nebraska. It is Michigan. Elijah Herbal to my left, Justice Rohde. We got new chains. He is still in studio as we're excited to bring you some pregame coverage here on KFOR, KFORnow.com. Fellas, we're posted up. The Haymarket is buzzing. There is so many folks in red down here, a little bit of blue and yellow or maize as well. But it is all good feels, all good vibes right now. You've got folks, what are those things called where there's about 12 people pedaling, blocking traffic, drinking while they pedal?
The group therapies.
Yes, thank you. There's some early pregame therapy where grandmas, moms, daughters are vibing and they're screaming, "Go Big Red," at 11 a.m. Central Time, 10:30 a.m. Central Time. So it is on, right? It is Nebraska. It is Michigan. We'll have Mark Spindler with us, proud Papa Araco. He'll be on site with us about 11:30. Mark Cranack going to be with us around noon or so. The Iron Horse, Gary Sharp checks in, and excited to hear from you. We'll get our shout-outs going in the stream, the starting five here with the Average Joe Sports Show. Guys, how we doing? How we feeling? We have talked the talk with this Nebraska-Michigan matchup starting Sunday, right? Since Sunday morning with the Average Joe Sunday Live on YouTube.
It really started with the Real Red Reaction Show last week.
It did. We did. We spent about 5 minutes on Houston Christian, and then we moved right on into Michigan with Michigan's bounce-back performance. Nebraska's done their job. You got to ask the question to both of you, and I tried to kick this habit in my teens, but the topic of procrastination. Elijah, were you a procrastinator? Justice, were you a procrastinator? Did you just kind of college, I'm going to raise both hands. I was pretty bad about studying versus other choices, but it's all air quote worked out. But where would you say you are?
Oh, I'm a bad procrastinator.
Are you just going to put it off?
Absolutely. Until I need to do so. I could bring up some examples from the past week. I won't do so, but procrastination, I think, brings the best out of me.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. When you're on a deadline,
okay.
When you're on a deadline, it creates a reason to lock in.
Okay.
That's me, at least. Justice, how about you?
Yeah, I would say I'm a pretty bad procrastinator. I'm one of those that I like to think I work better under pressure. In reality, I'm just putting it off until I feel like I have the capacity to actually do something about it. So that's where I fall.
I'm not procrastinating to the point of like rushing things, but I am procrastinating to the point of this is the last time I can do something and get it done in a reasonable time frame, if that makes sense.
You have absolutely laid out the definition to Nebraska's season this year.
Okay.
You have got to wait until presumably USC the next time you get a ranked pelt on the schedule. Maybe it'll be Michigan State. Maybe it will be it's not going to be UCLA.
Minnesota, maybe?
Maybe it'll be Minnesota.
Tough after last week against Cal, though.
But right now you have this opportunity to do what hasn't been done in darn near a decade. And that's take down a ranked team. But bigger than that, it is, Nebraska not fiddling around anymore with where they want to be and where they are in the Big Ten. They have put off opportunity after opportunity after opportunity year after year. and it's never gone the right way. We were watching right before we jumped on College Game Day, and it's almost a clean sweep of Michigan picks by the talking heads. Saban, Desmond, shocker, and even Kirk picking Michigan. McAfee doing his boy a solid and picking Nebraska to win in Lincoln. But no, I mean, for too long and too many years, Nebraska's put off that opportunity, that chance. Let's hear from Matt Rule. I think it's cut 7 on not making too much of today, but realizing the importance of what today is.
We very much never want to make one game bigger than the other in terms of the football part of it, but in terms of, as I've said a couple times, like bringing excitement to Lincoln and having people be excited. I mean, like last year's Colorado game to me was an iconic moment that I hope, someday my kids are talking about. Remember that time, being at Wisconsin last year, beating them for the first time, and we were going to go to a bowl game. That was an amazing moment for so many people. I can't tell you how many people for the first 2 years I was here talked about students. Coach, I came back for another year. I just want to go to a bowl game, please. I don't care where it is. Just get us to a bowl game. So from a global perspective, as you represent the university in the ways in which you do, certainly don't represent them academically, but when people turn on the brand, I want them to see excitement. I want them to see an amazing fan base. I want them to see a rocking stadium. I want them to see a state united behind a team. And those are all the things that we have. I want them to see elite facilities, elite players. And then I want you to see a football team that plays the game the right way. So I don't want to minimize the excitement of having a ranked team come here for the first game. I don't want to minimize the excitement. I mean, I'm excited about it. Like, this is why you came to Nebraska, to play these games. Last week was fun. And for a lot of guys, that was, they don't get a chance to play very often, but they work really hard. That was their chance to play. That's why we were so locked in at halftime. Those weren't we released a couple speeches, and I just got asked about it on a TV show. Those weren't pre-games. Those were halftimes because we wanted to get everyone in the game. And so that was important. But
more from Rule here as that got cut off. My fault there, cut 8.
But now this is why you came to Nebraska. And we had a vision of being a program that would be relevant nationally, not for our history only, but for what we're doing right now. And so through 3 games we are, we'll see, you got to play. But I'm excited. I'm excited to play in the Big Ten, but I'll be just as excited 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now. I just personally believe at the University of Nebraska, every game is a big game because we're playing in it. And as soon as we all have that mindset in the locker room and in the building, then we'll be awesome. There's a lot of weeks you guys ask me a lot about us. There's all the weeks you guys ask me about the opponent. I'm focused on us. I can't control them. They're an excellent team. They're great coaches, but I want our guys locked in and ready to go. I know our fans are going to be locked in and ready to go. I know you guys are going to be locked in and ready to go. I'll be locked in. It's an epic day, national TV. And, even just for the university, think about how many students all across the country are going to turn that game on and see us play and see our student section and see what's happening here. I mean, kids want to go to schools where there's something exciting going on. I remember the year I was looking at this job. I remember turning on the Wisconsin game and being like, it was kind of stoic. It was kind of staid, and I was like, all right, well, now that wasn't Colorado. That wasn't last week. And it's not going to be on Saturday. So all that doesn't matter if you don't play well, though. So I'll just focus on the football. But the guys, by the way that they've worked, have enabled us to have this moment. So I'm excited for it.
And to that point, Schmitty, about the excitement, it's something we talked about earlier this week with the topic you brought up. Is this a game or is this the game? And to me, it's
ding, 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 ding. It's both.
But it's got to be the game because in my eyes, this is the game that can change the narrative. And Matt Rule talks about what students across the country think. And he gets it as a guy that understands what's the point of your athletic programs. Yeah, you want to win football games. You want to give something for the folks in Lincoln to do. But it draws recruitment into your university. And we don't need to dive too deeply into that. But if you want to change the narrative of what Nebraska football is, this is your week to do it. Yeah, you're going to have an opportunity against USC in November. But over the month of October, if you want people to talk differently about Nebraska, if you want people to think, man, Matt Rule's turning things around, year 3 is real, this is the game where you have to do it. If you lose this game, it doesn't matter what you do over the next month. Even if you go into November at 7-1, it does not matter if you've lost this game because people are going to say, well, look at who they played. Sparty, they're not worth anything. Maryland, they're not worth anything.
And let's doubt continue to linger, Justice.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think we asked this a lot last year, but guys, is this the game where the Matt Rule process getting into year 3, is this the game where it turns into tangible progress? Is this the game where the process becomes progress and you start to show the fruits of your labor behind the scenes? all the mat drills, the offseason conditioning with Corey Campbell, the recruiting, Matt Rule putting himself out there as a national brand and on national television. Is this finally the game where they put it all on the field? They say, listen, fellas, empty the gas tank because we got a bye week after this week. Go out there, turn the process into tangible progress, and put the country on notice. I think this is the best spot to do it.
Well, and I'll say this. I don't think that this is going to be a stage fright thing for Nebraska. I don't think it's going to be, oh, no, it's Michigan. Oh, no, there's CBS is here. It's 2:30. I don't believe that. If they don't get it done today, it's because they got beat by a better team, and there may be a smidgen of, self-harm. But I think this team has moved away from the self-harm part of it to the point where we've seen them take care of the football this season. They've made some plays in the one tight game that they faced, and you're seeing some of the young guys play with a bunch of confidence. Because I'll say this, man, I think their practice habits, their training, and the competition that is demanded is making these guys better. Are they ready to take down Michigan? Hey, Michigan, the other side of the coin is what they have, what they are, and they are trying to kind of fight to stay relevant, or are they sliding down the mountain?
Well, the fan base is ready for them to take down Michigan. That much is certain. I mean, look at downtown Lincoln.
It is elbow to elbow, as they say. So we invite you down to Salt Mine City Brewing and hang out with your fellow Husker fans here, 801 R Street, where we're at. And we're here till 2 for the pregame. And then Real Red Reaction follows around 6 after Nebraska and Michigan. So we are kind of diving into the mental and physical part of this. But the theme is procrastination and quit putting it off. We talked with Jason Peter earlier this week, the 95 team honored today. And he was right on about, put up or shut up, because it is a chance to go show your work, what you've done, how good you've gotten. And there's been examples of teams that have climbed out of the middle class or even lower class of the Big Ten, race, keeping up with the Joneses. And Minnesota's done it not that long ago, pre-COVID. You had an 11-2. Iowa's made their way to a Big Ten championship game. Northwestern's gone to 2. Wisconsin's faded a little bit. It's time to stabilize if you're Nebraska right now, because the clock is ticking with this league, with its talent. And this is simple. It's a gettable game at home. You're a talented football team. You've spent the money to be talented. You've brought in really good coaches to help that recruiting and portal addition maximize their potential. And this town, this state, ready to celebrate and ready to party after a big time, signature victory.
And what you have that not many teams have, that gives, it's why Husker fans are confident. It's why national media is talking about this game. It's your 5-star quarterback. It's Dylan Ryola. And to me, this has to be a game. If Nebraska wins it, Dylan Ryola has to let loose. And yeah, the running game's important. You need to be able to control the football. They're stopping the run of Michigan, very important. But if Nebraska wins this football game, Dylan Ryola is going to have to let loose. And I know Cincinnati took away the deep threat. I know that Nebraska's probably keeping some tricks up their sleeve whenever they're playing Akron and Houston Christian. But if Nebraska wins this football game, Dylan Ryola is going to have to let it fly. There's going to have to be some deep shots down the field. You're going to have to see your guy in one-on-one coverage and say, I trust Dane Key, I trust Isaiah Hunter to go up and make a play. I don't think you're going to dink and dunk your way to a victory like you did against Cincinnati. It's why the game was so close. Nebraska couldn't get down the field. Michigan loves to blitz. They love to give you some pre-snap looks that aren't what you're going to see post-snap. What that's going to open up is deep opportunities. I need to see Dylan Ryola be willing to let it fly. He needs to go show that he is a 5-star quarterback. He's the reason why there's excitement around this football program right now. Matt Rule's been awesome, yes. But why are guys like Isaiah Hunter and Dane Key coming to this football program? It's because there's a 5-star quarterback at the helm that they think can lead this team to a lot of victories. Dylan Ryola needs to be that guy today. And yes, it's not just on him. One guy doesn't go win a football game. You need other people to step up. But if Nebraska wins it, Nebraska's not going to do it on a bad Dylan Ryola day. He needs to go be a 5-star. make the correct throw. But when the opportunity presents itself, you got to go attack down the field and show why you're a 5-star.
Go be a dude, Justice.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's going to come down to I just want to see him play clean football, play pocket football. I don't need you to go be a hero. When the opportunity presents itself, absolutely, go push the boundary on it. But if they're going to sit back and they're going to play cover 3, they're going to play 3 high safety, and they're going to say, you know what, here's 15 to 20 yards, take it or leave it. He better take it. He better look at the opportunity in front of him and just take the yardage.
That's not Michigan. That's not Wink Martindale, though. He's not going to sit in a cover 3 or cover 4 shell and keep everything in
He's
front.
going to try and rip your bleeping head off.
And that's why I think whenever the opportunity presents itself, you need a confident Dylan Ryola that's willing to go let it fly. Because I do believe there will be opportunities today. Wink Martindale is not cut from the cloth of a defensive coordinator who's going to rush forward and sit back. And it should also be noted, Michigan's front 4 so far this season hasn't been great getting after the passer. They've had to bring pressure in order to get after the quarterback. So Wink's going to go do that today. He's going to put pressure on Dylan Ryola. He's going to put his corners on islands at times. You got to go take advantage if you're Dylan Ryola. That's one of the big keys for me today is this is not a game where I think you can dink and dunk your way to victory with how Michigan likes to play defense.
But again, if he does, and if Dylan does burn him, you better believe Wink Martindale's going to go vanilla. Because if you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, can't get fooled again. You know what George Bush used to say? If he gets burned a couple times, Wink Martindale has shown plenty of times in the past. He will be content to sit back and let his coverage do the work and try to get home with a 4 and then a jack linebacker or somebody coming right up the middle. Like he'll go hat on hat.
If he does do that, I think it's advantage Nebraska.
It's absolutely advantage Nebraska, but that's why you have to go push him. When he brings the blitz, be good against the blitz and go punish him. So that way he has to sit back on his heels and be pragmatic and keep the dogs on the chain.
Yep, we're in agreement. That's the importance of Dylan Ryola going and being a 5-star, going and being a Duke today. It changes how Wink Martindale wants to play defense.
Plenty of respect for Dylan. Folks have taken notice as to how he has made that jump from year 1 to year 2. Biff Pogge recognized it. He is playing at a really, really high level. One thing that Dylan has this year that he hasn't had at least a year ago is some consistency. He's had consistency from his offensive line. He's had really good consistency from Emmett Johnson, who's playing possessed. And he has a receiving core that's been upgraded, that is talented, that can win. And he's got a tight end that he can lean on as well. So it's there for him. They went out in the portal, got Rocco, got Pritchett. We'll see what Pritchett's role is. He's got experience against this Michigan front going back to the bowl game. But Gatula's played really good football. Teddy's played good ball. And that interior, fellas, with your 2 guards and Evans at center, Nebraska's going to have to try and make some money and throw, like the whole topic this week's been Michigan's body blows, Haynes running and being a home run threat. Totally get it. But Nebraska, too, has their guy in Emmett Johnson that is elusive, that is wanting to kind of showcase himself today on a big stage after being forgotten about and under-recruited and disrespected. Throw whatever label else you want to put down there. But, the supporting cast, to go Michael Jordan here for a moment, is really nice for Nebraska. And that is going to serve them well today in a win if they get it handled. And it's going to serve them well throughout the year. They have some guys. They have a team. They've got starters. They have backups that can come in and make some plays.
And I loved I think it was what BC said yesterday about Emmett Johnson, with the fact that national media this week is talking about Justice Haynes.
Mm-hmm.
And Emmett has never been a guy that hasn't played hard. He always plays the chip on his shoulder, always runs the football hard. It's what Husker fans love about him, and he's been doing that since he stepped foot on campus. But this is a day where I think Emmett Johnson takes some things personal with how this game has been previewed. Everyone's talking about Justice Haynes. No one's talking about Emmett Johnson. This is a potential coming out party for what Husker fans see in him, which is a guy that, he's a little bit undersized, but he runs hard. He runs bigger than his size would indicate. And it's that opportunity for him, Justice, to maybe not put the world on notice, but put the Big Ten on notice that, hey, I'm a Big Ten running back too.
Yeah, and this is a perfect opportunity where, the spotlight's been on Michigan's O-line, Michigan's brand of football. That big, maize and blue O-line. They're just going to steamroll right through. I think this is an opportunity not only for Emmett Johnson, but for Nebraska's revamped offensive line to kind of stamp their name on the game today. If you look at what they did with Rocco Spindler, bringing him into the portal, they leave the incumbent Gunnar Gatula. And listen, he's been in big spots before. Remember when he was thrust into action on a dime's notice against Illinois last year in a ranked game, and remember how he held up. He did okay in his first ranked game. Now he's got a year of experience under his belt. You slide Justin Evans over. You've got veterans in Henry Lutovsky, that big road grader on the right side, Teddy Prohaska. I think this is also a huge opportunity for Nebraska's O-line to put the stamp on it and just say, hey, we're going to give Emmett Johnson the room to run and just let that dog eat. You know what I'm saying? He's going to go out there and just when you get a gash, when you get a slash, when you get outside zone, have a chance, get out there and just let your running back eat. I think that Nebraska's O-line, in addition to Emmett Johnson, are being overlooked, and they're going to try to take this personally.
And Justice, I know you've taken some classes in your time at UNL with Emmett Johnson. Give me the feel. Do you think he's a guy that he's not a big talker? He's really not. He likes to talk with his pads. Do you think this is a game that he takes personally from your time with him?
Absolutely. I think this is a guy. Listen, Emmett's an amazing dude. Emmett's a guy who, would give you the shirt off his back. He's an incredible human being. But make no mistake, he's a competitor. He wants to win. You talk to him off the field, and he's like, yeah, I think we got a squad this year, legitimately. He's like, we're going to go put some people on notice. I think he's a guy who's been doubted. Remember when he was brought in the Scott Frost administration? There were a lot. He didn't have a ton of big-time offers. He was a guy who, was the player of the year in Minnesota, and it felt like nobody gave a rip. So having talked to him, having known the guy, this is absolutely a game where he goes up and he says, man, forget the helmet, forget the sticker. I want to go out there because guess what? I've got dreams of getting to the NFL too. I don't care what that front seven thinks. I want to go make my hay. I was brought in to do a job. Dana put his faith in me. I'm going to go reward that. I think he's fueled by people who believe in him more than people who doubt him, and there are a lot of people now who believe in Emmett Johnson.
Mike and Callie making a great point. If the O-line wants Joe Moore consideration, yes, sir. The day is to take it for Nebraska, and it is a big-time moment. One of those situational football things that have been a bugaboo for Nebraska has been the deep red zone, fellas. Let's hear Dana talk about the deep red zone. I think that's cut 7 from Dana Holgerson earlier this week, and Nebraska needs to take that next step, not only on the national stage today, on the national stage for Dylan Ryola for the offensive line, but how about what they want to do when it comes to points that'll be at a premium today. Here's Dana Holgerson.
Can't waste plays. That first drive where we didn't score, and I know that's a topic, and it's on Coach Rule's mind. We got to score when we're inside the 5. We do. I've talked about that since the day I got here. I showed him the 4 Big Ten CFP teams last year were all 70+. That goal is 70. We've been 66, 66, and 64 or something like that, right? And so, which is a lot better than last year. Last year is in the 40s, okay? And so we have took a step in that direction. We've worked it. We got to continue to work it. But, we've just wasted a couple plays down there. Last week on 3rd and 5, the 2 receivers didn't get the check. I mean, that's just flat out unacceptable, and so we wasted that play, the play before that, we tried a pass to Dane that we've worked. We can't work it anymore, okay? And he just got to run that route a little bit more sudden. He got into him. The guy grabbed him, which if you get into him, the guy's going to grab you. So you got to be more sudden and get through that. So Dylan threw, I thought, was a pretty good pass, but he couldn't get to it. That's a wasted play. So, the other stops were later in the game. I probably would have called that a little bit differently if it would have been, our black team in there instead of our white team in there. No excuse. Everybody's got to have an opportunity to execute. They need to go in there and execute when they have that opportunity to play. Okay, but it's improved from last year. It's not what it needs to be for what our goal is. Okay, and so we just need to not waste plays and keep moving forward. I do think we were an efficient offense last week. We had one negative play, which was victory. I'll take that. That was the only negative play that we had the entire day. That's been something that we focused on going forward, not backwards. We, 2 penalties, no turnovers, 55% critical downs, which we'd like to have a couple of those back. But for the most part, I think our offense is efficient. And as quality of play goes up, which it will in the Big Ten, then our quality of play needs to go up as well.
Dana Holgerson earlier this week. It's the Average Joe Sports Show weekend edition here at Salt Mine City Brewing, 801 R Street. We're kind of catty corner from the Rally House. And if you're familiar with Hilton Garden Inn, right across from Blue, we're on that patio setup. Come by, get a beer, great Nebraska brew selection. Get some food. They got burgers. They have munchies. They have amazing nachos. And, I mean, it is elbow to elbow, the Haymarket. Absolutely buzzing. Folks are happy.
Hey, Alex, how was the Bloody?
How's the Bloody Mary? Good? Really good. That's
good.
2 thumbs up.
IPA was good? IPA was solid.
IPA is incredible. Look at Elijah. He has his security team here drink tasting for him.
Elijah needs security? I thought
actually, it's not. I said security. It's Elijah's entourage.
There you go.
And I love that. Walter in south of Philly says, "Get it done today. No more bleeping excuses. Tuck in the stream. Time to make a statement today." NASCAR Eric says, "What's up?" Steven says, "Everyone up early for sure."
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, driving down in here about 9:45. You wouldn't have known the game was still 5 hours away.
You know, it's a big day when the Bunny and Carla are going to come tailgate. And it was about 3 wardrobe changes, and she's like, "Well, I think I'm set." So she's ready to go with
it was
her tailgate setup.
It was 2 wardrobe changes for me today. I was deciding between the quarter zip and the no quarter zip look. I had the quarter zip on. I went outside. I went, it's a short sleeve kind of day.
It is a little warmer than I thought, but just going to be great. No more rain, we don't think, in the picture. We're out here on the patio, Salt Mine City Brewing. We have an APB out for Mr. Mark Spindler. He'll talk some offensive line with us. Crew is getting after it, trying to. He wants a fireball shot. Crew, you partner. Good work by the Hawkeyes last night. Kobe wanted the morning show. I was like, we needed to flex schedule this thing with a 2:30 kick.
Are you calling it good work for the Hawkeyes last night? They escaped by the skin of their teeth.
They won by 10.
Well, it was a late touchdown. I think it was close throughout, and Rutgers was really dicing up Iowa's defense for the whole first half.
They put up 17 fourth-quarter points, and their quarterback looked somewhat competent. So there he is. We'll take a timeout. We'll get the latest from Mark Spindler as we are ready to rock and roll. It is Nebraska. It is Michigan. It's the weekend edition of the Average Joe Sports Show on KFOR, KFORnow.com.
So what will we talk about in the week ahead?
We'll continue the debate on the fine line between free speech and hate speech. TV networks will be walking on eggshells after ABC put Jimmy Kimmel on the shelf. We'll see if the CDC makes good on its recommendations on vaccines for our kids. News that affects you.
We've got you covered.
For breaking news and severe weather alerts, keep it here, on air and on demand, 24/7 at KFORnow.com.
Connoisseur Media and Liberty First Credit Union want to help make it easy for you to give back. The first Friday of each month, look for our social post spotlighting a local nonprofit organization. Liberty First Credit Union will donate up to $500 to the featured nonprofit organization based on total shares. And you can go to KFORnow.com and tell us which nonprofit organization you'd like us to support next month. Care to share with Liberty First Credit Union and Connoisseur Media.
You're great at protecting your data, but lots of places could still expose you to identity theft. If that happens, LifeLock gives you the U.S.-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims. Your agent handles it all. In fact, they're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. It's nice to have an expert like that on your side. Save up to 40% off your first year with promo code Beck at LifeLock.com. That's LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour.
I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're gonna be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SAFE25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SAFE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SAFE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code SAFE25.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3. But that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds...
We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbal.
Back with you here, Roadshow Saturday, the weekend edition of the Average Joe Sports Show, as we are at Salt Mine City Brewing, and we welcome in Mark Spindler, proud Papa Rocco in his big red gear. It's Nebraska, Michigan, dude. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. I mean, this is what we do this for, right? Big games, big opportunities, big excitement, and I, expected some big things today.
Let's get into the nuts and bolts, line play, my friend. What Michigan has, what Michigan is. You also know what Nebraska is on the offensive line, and that's where it's going to be won today. Both sides of the line for Nebraska. Michigan wants to do what they want to do, and as you look at this with your football hat on, your NFL analysis hat on, what do you see?
Well, it's clearly just a tale of two tapes there, right? So you would think at this time Nebraska's offensive line, which is big and strong and physical, going against a pretty, strong and physical defensive front of Michigan. And so it's going to be interesting to see, who's going to win that battle. But clearly, if Nebraska wants to win this football game, they absolutely have to win that battle, because on the opposite side of the field, Michigan rather is going to try to impose their will by running the football. Not only traditionally running the football with the running back, but, watching what Bryce Underwood did last week and, pulling the ball down. I wouldn't be surprised if they have 7 to 10 design runs just for him that are specific, let alone the scrambles. And so can that, front seven in Nebraska, which is clearly going to be undersized, but not necessarily overmatched, because what I saw and what I've continued to see is this shifty, quick, explosive defense. And will, Michigan's offensive line be able to handle that and understand they're not as healthy as they would want to be coming into this game, that being Michigan's offensive line.
Whenever you look at Nebraska's defensive line, it was shaky against Cincinnati, to say the least. I mean, both with the running back run and the quarterback run. What kind of strides do you think can actually be made in a couple weeks with guys that haven't played much college football? They're getting their feet wet. Now it's another big test coming up. Like, what is that confidence building process like? How much can that actually change things?
It can absolutely change things. And with each game, you get more confident the better that you play. And they've played pretty well, but they're still giving up a lot of yards against the run. But, when I look at the entire defense, specifically the defensive backs, I think they've played exceptionally well. And really, there hasn't been much of an opportunity for anyone to have any wide open big plays. And let's hope we will keep that in check today as well. But they're just going to have to play fast. They're just going to have that black shirt mentality. They're going to have to be a traditional old school Nebraska defense that is really has got this program to where it really began, and if they can do that, then they're going to have a shot. But if they can't, then clearly, it'll be like a shootout, but not a shootout. I don't see 41-40 or anything like that. But I mean, a shootout in the sense that both offenses are going to control they would have to do that, then control the tempo of the ball game. But it's going to be interesting to see how well this defensive front from Nebraska has come along, and is it a byproduct of them coming together, which to me I've seen it looks somewhat that way, right? They're fitting better. They're fitting better. They seem to understand their assignment, their alignment, their responsibilities much better, and they're taking care of their business? Or was it the byproduct, of a lesser competition that allowed them to do that?
Let's talk about the emotions of a defensive line. I mean, they've been hearing this week. They've been feeling it. People talk about that Cincinnati game and how they're not ready to go. They're going to be fired up. They're going to be juiced up. How do you play on emotion as a defensive lineman, knowing you want to use those emotions, but you also can't let them control you, because if you're going out there too emotional, you're going to make mistakes?
Well, I think it's a very good point. But at the end of the day, for this defense to be successful, they're going to have to play loudy and rowdy. They're going to have to be cocked, locked, and ready to rock. And, they might live a little by the sword and they might die a little bit by the sword today. But make no mistake about it, they're just not going to be able to line up and play smash ball football with this team. I mean, they're just oversized. And I don't want to say, again, not say they're overmatched, but they're outsized. And eventually a big offensive line and a big front seven can really start to wear the defense down. But understanding that this defense is explosive, they're shifty, they're creative, they make a lot of things happen. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, the whole key is going to be what they allow or don't allow Bryce Underwood to do. They just can't allow him to have explosive plays, right? Because this kid seems to have this talent and the ability to be able to do it. Is he going to be able to do it is the question.
Mark Spindler with us, proud papa of Rocco Spindler with us here on the Average Joe Sports Show. As the lovely wife has made an appearance. It's a big game Saturday if she comes down to tailgate.
That's excellent. I love it.
So we are talking and previewing Nebraska, Michigan. Justice, you got something? Go ahead, bud.
Yeah, Mark, I wanted to ask you real quick. There's been a lot of hoopla about this Michigan offensive line and how highly touted they are, how physical they are, how they want to get downhill and impose their will. Let's flip this conversely and talk about Nebraska's offensive line. You got your son playing on the offensive line. He's been massive so far through 3 weeks. Justin Evans kicking over to center, Henry Lutovsky in the left guard spot, the two tackles in Gatula and Prohaska. Do you think they're hearing a little bit of chatter? When you think about you playing as an offensive lineman, there was chatter about the other offensive line being physical and dominant. Do you think that gives them a little bit of fire right under the tuchus to go out and try to explode into Michigan's D-line, which compared to standards of previous years has not been up to snuff?
I think they're very good, valid points. At the end of the day, this is Michigan, Nebraska. This is a Big Ten, huge game for both teams. But everyone wants to have that respect. And to be able to get that respect, you have to go out and earn that respect. And regardless of what people say about Michigan's offensive line, the reality is they lost a lot of players a year ago. They have one of their returning starters is out. I think another guy is banged up, and he's probably not going to be at 100%. And then you look conversely at Nebraska's offensive line. I got to tell you, this group is going to need to play very big today. I mean, it's great that they had this first 3 weeks to come together, to gel. You can see the communication, and it appears to be working. They're now just going to have to take that thing to the next level, because Michigan's front seven is a pretty damn good front seven.
Can we talk quarterbacks, guys you like to harass and terrorize? Yeah. You can't just make it about the two quarterbacks. They need the other 10 on each side of the football for sure. But, I mean, it is, your cornerstone. NFL, college, you need a dude at quarterback. Michigan spent $10 million to get theirs. All right. Nebraska has spent a lot to get theirs. And they got to go play. They got to go make plays.
Let me just say this. As much as I despised and wanted to harass quarterbacks, if I can get reincarnated and come back, I'd definitely come back as a quarterback now with the money that's out there today. But you look at these two individuals, I mean, a lot of similarities. I mean, both dynamic individuals. I mean, I give the personality edge clearly to Dylan Ryola, right? But when you look at them, they're both young, they're both athletic, they both have some moxie, there's a lot of expectation for both of them. It's going to be who makes the least amount of mistakes is really going to, determine, possibly the outcome of this football game. For Nebraska, they have to stop the run, right, and put the ball into this guy's hands, and hopefully that's a good thing, right? Because this guy has a cannon; he can really throw the football. But I like the way that Nebraska's defense has been playing, specifically the defensive back. So I would much rather see the ball into this guy's hands and move him around in the pocket, and then see what he has the ability to do. We already know what Dylan Ryola can do when he gets time and can throw it. He can hit a lot of different routes, a lot of different receivers at a lot of different times. But really, it's when you think about the two quarterbacks and you think a lot of, similarities from age, moxie, money, anticipation, expectation. There's a lot of pressure on both of these guys today to play because one of them is going to end up winning, the other one's going to be on the losing end.
You got to play well in these big moments, and you got to get help to do so. When it comes to the offense that Dana has, what he wants to do balance-wise, the weapons, and this is what's nice for Nebraska fans this year is, you're unbeaten. Yes, you've won a tight ball game. Yes, you're playing with confidence. I think that carries them today. It can carry Nebraska. But Nebraska went out, and it looks like they've hit on some upgrades, not only on the offensive line, but also weaponry outside. You've got Lindenmeyer at tight end. You've got Emmett playing at a high level. The wide receiver core, that'll be a matchup too, Mark, to look at against Michigan secondary.
It's going to be, it's all the old cliches. It's going to be an entire team effort. I mean, if I got to be honest, and you look on paper, and paper doesn't always, determine outcomes, it rarely does, that I would say there's a slight edge with Michigan, right? I mean, they've been building the program, consistently over the last several years. But having said that, you can't you got to take into account this atmosphere. Look at the people there. I mean, it's already nuts. It's crazy. And when we get into that stadium today, that's going to play a factor as well. So it's going to be very important that you come out and you play hard, you play fast, you play quick. And it's not necessarily you have to jump on them point-wise. That would be great. But as long as you keep them pinned down and you keep this crowd in the football game, then you're going to be able to have the ability to be able to do a lot of things on both sides of the ball, specifically defensive side of the ball. But, you made some really good points when you talk about the offense and the weapons that they have. This offensive line, again, I don't want to put a lot of pressure on my kid, but the reality is to whom much is given, much is expected. You got to go out and you have to play very big. And they have, I'm telling you, that front is a really, really good front. And Rocco played against several of them in high school, right? And so, I'm sure he's going to have that on his mind. But if they can control the line of scrimmage to a certain degree and give Dylan Ryola and these receivers and the tight end, as you said, an opportunity to get into some space, then, clearly good things are going to happen.
It's been one of the best pass-protecting units in the country, Nebraska's offensive line so far this season. How does that change today against Michigan? Wink Martindale, defensive coordinator, he loves bringing pressure from weird places. So I think part of that comes down to the quarterback, making sure he gets that offensive line in lockstep. But what do you expect to see in that regard today?
Yeah, I think they're clearly going to come after, this entire offensive line and the offense with pressure. I mean, I had an opportunity to sit with Rocco yesterday, afternoon or early, mid-morning, and look at some of the things, and they're going to come after them. They have a lot of different fronts, a lot of different looks, almost like a professional defense looks, right, on game day. So they're going to have to be well prepared mentally, physically, and this is why those first 3 games, to allow this offensive line to gel, continuity-wise, chemistry-wise, speaking-wise, and understanding who needs to be where, when, and why is going to pay a lot of dividends. And I think at this point in time, they're as good as expected that we needed them to be at this point. So that's a positive for them.
How huge is the start from a first quarter, jumping on? You mentioned the crowd getting into it, staying into it, but a lot of reference has been made back to the Colorado game last year. That was an emotional win. That was Nebraska coming out, wanting payback, having a lot of payback for what happened in Boulder. This, I don't know if there's as much emotion attached, but more so the recognition of, all right, this is part of the deal here with where you want to go as a program. So emotions, yes, you're going to be geeked for it, but a little bit different a year ago with the Buffs coming in. Right now it's Michigan jumping out. And can you is Michigan, are they rattled? Can you rattle Michigan? Are they able to be?
I think you can
to be really
clearly,
shaky.
Here's Michigan's mantra right now, and this is what national speak is right now, is that Michigan has already gone on the road and they got that loss and that ass kicking out of the way. So therefore they're now a veteran team and they can handle that type of pressure. But I want to reach out to all the Nebraskans, if that's what you're called out there, and all those people that are going to be in the stadium and outside the stadium today. You need to be loudy. You need to be rowdy. You need to be cock-locked and ready to rock. And you got to take that level up enormous. So if I continue to hear this talk about Colorado coming in, and yeah, there was maybe an emotional sense to win this football game. This is an emotional sense to win a football game that actually means something for the first time in a long time. And I am not going to sit here and think that these people, with all this history and all this tradition, okay, for the past 100 years, doesn't understand what football game they're in today. Yeah. So that expectation, regardless of how the game starts, regardless of how they are in the first quarter at halftime, you need to make the difference. Today, you can make a massive impact on this game on both sides of the ball. And I expect to see that from a guy that's only been to several Nebraska football games, but really understand the legendary tradition, nostalgic program that it is. This is what my expectation is, and this is what it's going to be. When they say go Big Red, I want to feel that stadium shake. That's what needs to happen here today.
Big opportunity. It is Mark Spindler with us here, weekend edition, Average Joe Sports Show here at Salt Mine City Brewing Company. You're a Bloody Mary connoisseur, my friend. How do you like it?
You know, if I had to give the old Dave Portnoy one sip, everybody knows the rule.
We might have to do a thing now.
It's got the right amount of spice for me. It does have it's a little tomatoey. Could use a little Worcester sauce in there maybe to kind of break that down a little bit. But on a 1 to 10, 7-3.
7-3.
7-3.
Mr. Spindler gives us his Bloody Mary breakdown.
Yeah, it's a solid Bloody Mary. The thing is tomatoey Bloody Mary is not the worst thing in the world. Sometimes you get those ones that are too pickly and it's a little like pucker factor. I had a sip. My roommate sitting next to us, and I had a sip of his Bloody Mary.
I wouldn't try taking a sip of his.
I'm not planning on it.
I'm telling you, from the spice factor, it is just absolutely, it's like perfect. The spice is on perfect because too spicy just kind of, you ruin that taste. For me, you know, I would like to cut that tomato taste just a little tiny bit, maybe a little Worcester sauce, something like that, maybe a little bit of olive, little pickle juice, something like that, just a little bit. But again, it is pretty solid. Look,
yeah.
Look at.
Let me ask you, talk about spice factor. As we get back to the Husker football team here and what this game is today, do you want a little spice level early? I mentioned it yesterday where, like, if there's one of those unnecessary roughness calls early in the first quarter to set the tone and let Michigan know, hey, we're here, we're going to be a physical force too, I'm not going to be opposed. What say you?
Well, look, I think from the spice factor, you need to let them know that they're as big as you let them be and no bigger, yep. And that you're there to impose your will on them and you're there to die. I mean, you need to go out there on that first play, smack someone in the mouth and let them know, hey, guys, I'm here to die. I don't give a shit who you are. You're Michigan. You're this. You're that. We're Nebraska. We're Cornhuskers, bitch, all right? And we're here to play hard-nosed football. In the sense that if it's going to be a penalty, that's not. I don't. You know, I'm not encouraging this, but no late hits, nothing like that. But if you go and you clean someone's clock and you get the crowd and so there's a penalty that goes, I am not opposed to that. So you have to play with that spice the entire game today, and the crowd has to have that freaking spice as well.
The let them know you're there mentality is very necessary.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just you're going to be here all day, right? As Lawrence Taylor once said, and make it happen, make it a reality. Mark, you look at this matchup here, and you know Big Ten football, and you know what this league has grown to be, and you've got your teams that are fighting for a return trip to the college football playoff. How hard is it to keep it the day-to-day, my friend, versus looking at the bigger picture? Because that's part of this conversation today, too, is the proving ground to beat somebody of consequence. 27 games,
yeah.
My friend, a losing streak to ranked teams. 2016 Oregon, same third, going into week 4 this season, and this place was nuts. You beat Oregon. And this Michigan team has more staying power than that 2016 Oregon team ended up having. But when it comes to the here and now versus the big picture,
well, you look at this, and it's kind of I look at it both ways. The here and now takes care of the big picture, so you have to focus on what's right in front of you here today. But the reality is, there's multiple Big Ten teams here today. Not today. Multiple Big Ten games being played today. I think there's a lot still undefeated. That's all going to change. And you look at the teams around Nebraska that has lost and has dropped either out or at the bottom. This is a great opportunity with a win here today. There's no doubt. They win today, Nebraska gets in the top 25 for sure. And now they start to pave their way and the ability to be able to move up and up and up and up. So taking care of business today is going to take care of the overall big picture, but you got to focus on what's right in front of you right now.
Mark, you played defensive tackle in the NFL for a number of seasons, so I want to ask you this. When a team comes out and they make their intentions very clear, they want to run the ball on you, they want to lean on you, they want to try to wear you down. It may not be the first quarter, it may not be the second, but the third and the fourth, they're trying to wear on you. What's the mentality got to be as the defensive lineman where you're just getting slammed and you're having to fill the gap? What's the mentality got to be for Nebraska's defensive line to wear it and say, you know what?
I got goosebumps.
We're not going to break.
Goosebumps. I would love to have the opportunity to play in a game like this where someone thought they were going to come into my freaking house and they were going to run the ball on us. Okay, I mean that is the reality of the matter. I have goosebumps. I would love them to say, you run it right here, please run it again and again and again. And what you have to do is you have to be one snap and clear. That's what the whole key is. So it doesn't matter whether it's good, it's bad, it's ugly. It's one snap clear. You move on to the next play. But understanding, like, someone's going to come into our house. This is Nebraska. This is the black shirt mentality. This is the defense, right? This is what this program in a certain way was built around. This mindset that has to reign supreme today. And look, if that's the case and they come in and you'll know right away, if you shut them down, you're going to see a guy back there patting the ball a little bit, okay? Then you know you've done your job. You know you've done your job. If they're ripping off 5 and 6 and 7 and 10 yards, which I don't anticipate that happening. It could happen at times. I think what's more, able to happen is this quarterback, because Nebraska's going to play an aggressive style of defense, and you got to be lane conscious where the guy pulls the ball down and he goes. He has that ability to do that, as a lot of quarterbacks in college football have the ability to be able to do that today. And you're going to have to. Part of the stopping the run game is stopping this quarterback from running the football as well.
What did you feel about mobile quarterbacks?
I hated that shit. I mean, man, I remember the guy from West Virginia. I got to think.
Major Harris,
man. I'll tell you how we practiced for that is we took the most mobile, fast, quick, agile guy who couldn't throw the ball, and then we would just do a scramble drill. And the 4 guys would just take off and just have to go and run his tail down, right? And try to stay, lane conscious. But it's difficult to play against guys like that, because the moment that they have a crack, they have a seam, they're gone. They're pulling the ball down, and they're looking to run. And this guy, after last week, is going to have this confidence level in his mindset. Look, I want to look to run the ball first versus throw the ball. So I wouldn't be surprised that Nebraska comes up with some type of scheme to specifically spy this guy from time to time and put a really athletic cat on him to be able to just keep him in check.
From a football point of view, how does having a spy change your defense?
Well, I mean, you're exchanging 1 for 1, and it's kind of a win for them, in my opinion, because you got a guy that's looking to make a big play versus a guy that's, looking to stop a guy who's just sitting back there looking to throw the football. So you're kind of playing 10 versus 11 in a certain aspect. But this is why a great defensive coordinator, he can kind of predict, when and where he wants to do this. And I assume somewhere along the way we're going to see that today. I wouldn't be surprised anyway. I mean, don't you think you're going to, have some form of a guy to kind of spy him?
Here's what I believe, and get your reaction to it. We got a break coming here towards top of the hour. Mark Spindler with us here, the Average Joe Weekend Edition here at Salt Mine City Brewing. We had the Mark Spindler Bloody Mary review a little bit earlier.
This place is packed, man. I like this here, man. This is good vibe right here, man.
It's good, and we know that the spy is possible.
Yeah.
From a schematic standpoint, I don't think we'd be surprised if there's more likely 4 down line versus the traditional 3-3-5. I think they're going to have more meat and potatoes on the lines of scrimmage, and then I think they're going to ask their secondary to continue to be great with that matchup and man opportunity, and then it's the rush lanes. I think it's going to be about bringing pressure, but be smart about the pressure you bring. So you're going to have reinforcements / cavalry on the line of scrimmage to stop Haynes prevent him from trying to hit a home run.
If you can play man-to-man and you can shut the receivers down or you can keep them in check, then you have the ability to be able to do a lot of different things that can cause a lot of havoc to that offense and specifically that quarterback. So if these defensive backs play the way that they're capable and the way they've been playing, the secondary in total, you'll see a good performance by the Nebraska defense today.
Mark, you got a score prediction for us today, or just a feel for how things do end up going?
I think it's going to be a really tight football game, and it could be one in the special teams, right?
Points,
maybe
or higher or lower.
Maybe 31-28, somewhere along the lines. I could see about a 31-28 game.
Okay. Mark Spindler with us.
And, of course, Nebraska winning.
Right, for sure. You have
I did have a vision early in the week that Nebraska somewhere, just in case this does come to fruition, Michigan was coming out somewhere around on the 10, 12, 15-yard line, and they put a guy in motion, and they spread him out like late, and the quarterback got pressured, and we got a pick six.
Okay.
I did have this.
So I had this magic 8-ball crystal ball.
Yeah, I did,
going?
but it was me that actually intercepted the ball. And I'm being honest. So I'm hoping that this comes to fruition, that we get this pick six, and it makes a huge difference.
All right, quick timeout. More the Average Joe Weekend Edition here from Salt Mine City Brewing. Thanks, man. That was awesome.
Fresh subs delivered from our store to your door. Enjoy our hand-sliced meats and fresh toppings with our signature subs like the Classic Italian or Hearty Ultimate. Pick from our selection of hot subs, including the Chicken Bacon Ranch, Chipotle Cheesesteak, or Buffalo Chicken. Try our new baked pastas featuring Chicken Alfredo, penne with meatballs, or the baked Buffalo Chicken. With 5 locations across Lincoln, we deliver practically everywhere. Order today at GoodSenseSubs.com. That's GoodSenseSubs.com. This football season, game days are for the girls at Venue Restaurant and Lounge and Piedmont Bistro. During Nebraska home and away games, enjoy happy hour all game long and try our featured Nebraska Spritz. Elevate your game day get-together with a private dining room. We'll handle the cooking and cleaning, you handle the fun. With specialty game day menus, buffet, and full-service options available at Venue Restaurant Lounge and Piedmont Bistro. Spots are filling up fast, so call to book yours today.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensate for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Super Sale and get 40% off paints and stains September 19th through the 24th. With prices starting at $29.39, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues.
We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbal.
Back here, weekend edition continues. The Average Joe Sports Show here at Salt Mine City Brewing Company. Michigan may be in trouble. Ella, the niece, is here, and she brought a
Bringing
shiv.
out all the big guns.
She brought a shiv?
Dude, she's Bob Knight, dude. She flips tables, and it's quite entertaining that she's not my child. Shout out to Black Hills Brennan. He is in from Spearfish, and he makes the assumption that my approach shots find the green.
Well, we got like the switchblade pitch marker here.
Something like that.
Look at that.
It's pretty good. It's pretty awesome. Black Hills Brendan's here. Jay Saunders, the man who got me into radio, is here, all the way from Milwaukee.
Must be a big one. It must be a big one.
The whole world is here. It's awesome. And we're excited to have you down here at Salt Mine City Brewing, 801 R Street. We're here for post-game Real Red Reaction, 6-ish. Once Nebraska and Michigan finish their business today, 2:30 Memorial Stadium. Mark Rainack on the way, the Iron Horse, Gary Sharp, Brandon Vogel going to join us as well. Kind enough to give us some more time is Mark Spindler, NFL man, college football extraordinaire, and again, proud papa of Rocco on the Husker offensive line. So let me find out from you. I mean, you guys brought a crew out as well to get the festivities going, do your thing Friday, and be here for game day Saturday. Now, this is trip 3 for you to Lincoln, man.
We're starting to get a good understanding of where it's like, where do you want to go and hang out in downtown Lincoln? I mean, one thing I can say is all the establishments have been fantastic. And seriously, the people have been outstanding. It's one thing. These are really good quality people. And it just says a lot, because sometimes with a lot of winning and winningness in programs, there's a lot of ego that gets into place. And I've been to a lot of places where that ego evolves into arrogance, but not here. These people have been great. And again, I got moving a little late this morning because we're out a little bit late. But I got to tell you, it's been an exciting journey thus far. We wish we had another year already, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I'm thinking. I'm like, boy, God, I wish we had one more year here.
But you think about how special this year could be if Nebraska picks up a win today. Because what it is to me is this is a national narrative-changing type of win for Nebraska they have in front of them here. Because you look at the October slate, and you don't want to discredit any team, but there's not any teams that are going to move the needle nationally on Nebraska's schedule up until USC comes to town to kick off November. So what the opportunity is today is it's a chance to change what the national media narrative is around Nebraska, which it's been, well, Nebraska's it has been. They were great in the 90s. They can't do it anymore. You win this game today, it, to me, changes what the folks nationally think of what this Husker football program is.
Massive game for Coach Ryola as well, right? They talk about it, the third year of Rule, right? And I mean, this is, the game that really can help propel you to that mindset, and just think of what it can do. You win this, there's going to be a lot of national exposure about this game. I mean, Michigan comes to town. They're a big unit. They're a big outfit, right? They travel really well, and make no mistake about it. They're a ranked football team that's pretty darn good. Lost to a really, really good football team, and here you have this opportunity to really change the narrative. But it begins today, and then I truly believe with a win today, you're vaulted into the top 25. And then every week after that, you continue to take care of business. There's going to be other schools that don't take care of business, and you can climb your way up, maybe halfway through that poll. But at the end of it, what you're looking for is a Big Ten championship, an opportunity to get in the playoff, because that thing is just outstanding. But it all begins and probably ends here today.
When we talk playoff, there's been murmurs about it this offseason. There's hope from Nebraska fans to get in to that postseason. You saw 4 teams from the Big Ten get in last year. Indiana and Signetti have done a nice job. They've got their own a bit of an elimination game today against Illinois and what Bielema has done. So as you kind of scanned the Big Ten early on, do you still feel good about a 4-team playoff representation from the Big Ten this year?
Well, you have Ohio State, right? I mean, I can't see Penn State, Ohio State, and then the other
you
two
got
are
Oregon.
Oregon, yeah.
You got Oregon at Penn State next Saturday.
Right. So look at this is why I said a lot of things are going to take care of themselves, right? But I have they determined now? I don't know this. You guys catch me up on this. Does the Big Ten and the SEC champions, do they automatically get an automatic bid still?
Yep.
Right. So I mean, you really pave your way there. It doesn't matter. It's like Indiana a year ago, right? You can just pave your way into this playoff by just taking care of your business, which is fantastic, and being part, of a conference. Whereas you look at Notre Dame and what happened to Notre Dame. I mean, I still can't believe they lost. I mean,
they're 0-2, brother.
They're what?
They're 0-2. Notre Dame's still 0-2.
Really? The Fighting Irish? I got to be careful here. Yeah. Yeah. 0-2. But you see, and now they're going to have trouble. They're going to have a difficult time, even if they run the table, getting in. Why? Because they're not in a conference, can't win a conference championship. Right, so that's going to be difficult. Whereas you look at Nebraska and call it a weak schedule, call whatever you want, right? It is what it is, and it plays out the way that it plays out. You take care of your business, you're in the game to get into the playoff.
Well, and you play who you play, and Cincinnati, we'll see where they end up. You'll see what the last 2 weeks did. The last 2 weeks got your backups ready. The last 2 weeks got your depth. Some live bullet action, and the last 2 weeks also got your offense humming quite a bit, and it also got some rest for those starters as well.
Yes.
Let's talk Emmett Johnson. He's running behind that offensive line. What do you love about Emmett? What do you think about Emmett's performance today? Let's put some parameters on what you think he can do.
I think he's going to have a big day. I mean, he's going to have to contribute and make some of that effort on his own, and this offensive line is going to have to put him in position to win as well, right? But, I mean, he seems like to be a strong kid. He has speed. He's pretty fluent, and he can find his way. He can find his way through those gaps, which is nice. But, again, he's going to have to break some tackles today. He's going to have to do some things, and the offensive line are going to have to create a lot of opportunities. And, again, I outside of him, I would also like to see Dylan pull the ball down a few times and run and create some opportunities as well. Because when you start to do that, that's when you're going to start to make that defense be a little hesitant, kind of like what we're talking about with Nebraska, have to pull forward a little bit to keep an eye on their quarterback, right? Which is going to leave the middle of that field open. And if Dylan can, run the football a little bit here, make someone have to be a little cognizant of that, then some of those, cross the middle type of routes are going to be probably more open than they would be if he didn't do that.
Another thing I want to ask you about, we talked about this back really to kick off the show, deep passing threat. Nebraska hasn't shown much of it. On one hand, Cincinnati is a team that they love to play in their 3 high or even 4 high shell and make you go underneath, rally to the football. That's not how Michigan is built. That's not Wink Martindale's system at all. He likes to get pressure on the quarterback. He likes to leave his corners on some islands. How important to you is Nebraska taking some shots down the field just to give Michigan that doubt in the back of their head?
I think that's a great point. I mean, whether it works or doesn't work, it might sound weird. It does work, right? If you stretch the field, regardless if you complete the pass or you don't, it makes them kind of think twice when they're going to come after us a little bit. And you said it. You haven't seen that much. And we got a couple explosive receivers that have the ability to be able to stretch the field and make big plays. You have to give them the opportunity to make it, right? So hopefully somewhere along the line, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You're going to blitz, you pick up that blitz, you throw that ball deep, you make a big play, changes the complexity of the game.
Mark Spindler with us on site here, Salt Mine City Brewing. They have phenomenal burgers. They have Munchies, a 7.3 Mark Spindler Bloody Mary rating. and that is something we're going to keep running with our pre-games. We're going to get you Bloody Mary setups.
Yeah, I like it. We're good. we're good. We're good. Yeah, and you know, look at just like the Dave Portnoy scale. I mean, look, that's not a bad score, folks. This is a good Bloody Mary, and I got to tell you, from the spice aspect of it, it is perfect. It is spot on, and simplicity sometimes is better, right? You know, I could use a little bacon in there, right? A little bacon sometimes changes the taste.
Bacon makes
right?
the world go round.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? There are those who want to love bacon and those who eat bacon all the time. It's just something like that. But yeah, good solid Bloody Mary, and what a great crowd here, man. Yep. They got it all festive up here. Good crowd. Go Big Red! Go Big Red! There we go, baby!
Juiced up here. I will say, to go back just a second here, and I love that moment here. You got to be careful talking about Dave Portnoy on Michigan Day. He's the guy who bankrolled Bryce Underwood to Michigan.
Yeah, well, they say him or that Larry Ellison guy. They got more money than God. But let me tell you something. Money can't buy talent. Money can't buy wins. You know, I'm a big New York Yankee fan, and they haven't been able to get the thing done, and they got the biggest payroll in the history of mankind, right? You know, what wins is being the best team on game day. Not necessarily the best team wins. The best team on game day wins. And make no mistake about it, Nebraska is going to be ready to roll today. They're going to play lights-out football. They're going to play fast football. The crowd is going to be behind them, and that just very, very well might be the difference. I mean, these people are stoked. They're ready to go. Look at it here today. I mean, this is amazing.
They were here 6 hours before kick. They're down here at 8 a.m.
I love it. Let's get primed up, folks. Let's get primed up.
They were ready to go. It is Nebraska, Michigan, as we're continuing to look at this Nebraska-Michigan matchup. And Mark Spindler with us here on KFOR, KFORnow.com, FM 1015 and 1240 AM. Stream us, always get us caught up on the YouTube channel, Average Joe Sports Show YouTube channel. Like and subscribe there if you haven't. On Twitter, AJ Sports Radio. And the podcast, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, where you can download. We've hit a lot of the offense here, Mark. We've talked defense. I want to go back to the Nebraska defense. We know stopping the run is paramount. We know staying in their lanes and keeping Underwood in check from that scramble, that backbreaker on 3rd and 8's big. But let's go into the kind of the makeup of this defensive line. You said the more undersized and explosive reality of this Nebraska defensive line, different body type than they had a year ago, and that can still win ball games for you. We're not saying that it can't, but as you look at what Nebraska's got on that side of the line, you know that a guy like Linhart is playing good football. You've got Keona Davis. You've got Waneri that's playing. You've got some young guys that have played well. And then the guy that I think, and you know, some of our sources have said he's had an amazing practice this week and is really built up for the moments, Van Poppel. I've kind of listed off your starters. There's some periphery guys that'll rotate in, and Judy and Petschalk as well. And then Gabe Moore, the Mississippi State transfer. So there's 7 names I've talked about, and those guys haven't logged a ton of miles yet. It's been 19 to 20 some snaps traditionally. Some of the guys that are playing well may need to go, Ty Robinson, polar bear type snaps. I don't know what the count will be, but as you look at the defensive line for Nebraska, can they be explosive today? Can they put some TFLs on the board and put Michigan behind the chain?
Oh, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that they can do that. What they don't want to do is just think about it as a heavyweight, not even a heavyweight boxing match, just a boxing match where you got one individual that's much bigger and much stronger and possibly more physical, right? You don't want to stand in front of that individual. You want to box them. You want to make them move. You want to get them tired. You want to,
You want to go Bud Crawford.
That's exactly what you want to do. And at the end of the day, when you look at this, Nebraska defense, you're going to see a lot of run stunts. You're going to see a lot of run twist. You're going to see a lot of slants and those type of things. And when you create those type of things, you clearly have the ability to make big plays in the backfield. But conversely, on the other side, that's when you can open some things up where you can see a couple big long runs. You just got to stay patient. You got to stay true to your game plan, and you got to understand 1 or 2 long runs possibly doesn't change the course of the entire game. You just got to be disciplined to the process, and this is why alignment, assignment, and responsibility is going to be key in where everyone it fits. Because when you start twisting guys, to overcome not being able to physically match up against individuals, and you don't have to. I mean, some of them quick, fast guys, they're the hardest guys to play against. They really are, and they can create a lot of havoc. And you look last week in the game, we talked before, when we see some pressure on the quarterback, you not only saw pressure on the quarterback, you saw the quarterback on the ground multiple times.
Quickly, are you guys seen Syracuse up 24-7 on Clemson?
I saw the opening drive. They went right down the field and they scored. I knew that.
They just did it again.
Fran Brown not only made his guy run gassers after a tight win. Was that 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
Syracuse, but Clemson is a team that had a lot of flowers handed out to them, and we thought they'd be pretty good. I thought they'd be a playoff team. Now they're staring down the barrel of a third loss already in week 5, and it's been a pressure cooker for Dabo. Dabo's got a little testy.
He's a little salty in that press conference, right? But I can tell you better be careful what he asks for, because he just might get it. Yeah, he's got a lot of football left, but it just might not be down there in Death Valley.
So you got Dabo saying, hell, we've won 8 out of 10 conference titles. The only team to go toe-to-toe and win against Bama during their golden era. College football world's a lot more of a level playing field with your opportunity to spend some money.
And it's adapt or die in college football right now. That's one of the things you've seen. I mean, there's been a big difference, Matt Rule, year 1 to year 3, with his approach. He's taking that CEO-type mentality, and you see the podcast. He understands that he needs to be the forward-facing guy in the program. He brings in an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator that he can trust, that he can turn the keys over to, so he can do the things he need to do. You haven't seen that from Dabo. You haven't seen him embrace the transfer portal like other coaches have, and the result is you're down 24-7 at home to Syracuse.
Yeah.
It's adapt or die, and right now Dabo's dying.
And that's not good. And I thought that game is at home. I think they're 24-point favorite as well, something like that. They're a big favorite as well. So
24-7. They're just starting the second quarter.
Yeah. So they got Andrew, they got the backup quarterback that they thought was going to be Angeli, who was going to be the starting quarterback for Notre Dame this year. He transferred up there to Syracuse. So good for him. He must be playing lights out right now. So, hey, Clemson had their fill. They had their run. Let's spread the wealth around.
Oh, Dabo, he's going to be stomping and chomping at the bit.
And one of the things we haven't talked about as we talk head coaches here, Michigan comes to town without a head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, Sharon Moore, the self-imposed suspension, he says, I want to go back to my alma mater. I'm going to play the unimportant game at Oklahoma, and I'm going to take off the home or the conference opener on the road at Nebraska. I think there is a level of disrespect to that Nebraska can feel that, hell, they think they can come in here without their head coach.
I think there's a lot of bulletin board material that's kind of off the record, that being one of them. Hey, look, this is a winnable game. I don't need to go. It doesn't matter who I send. We're going to win this game. This offensive line is much better than, Nebraska's offensive line. Our defensive line is way much better than Nebraska's defensive line. So when you look at the level of some form of disrespect that is absolutely going on, and if a head coach is supposed to make a difference in a football game, that's why he's paid what he is, and not having your head coach here, it's another opportunity for Nebraska to catch lightning in a bottle, right?
So I want to ask you about the explosiveness. We've talked Emmett, we've talked offensive line. Let's talk Dana Holgorsen, and he's a guy that Nebraska had for the end of last season. His history and talent well documented, but what's your viewpoint on Dana, this offense, and what you like about it, what you think Rocco likes about it?
What I see so far is, from what I heard last year was maybe the game was moving in a different direction around Dylan, the way that it wasn't conducive for him, and then they bring him in, and then watching some things, it more or less sounded like, look, we want to kind of, I don't want to say dumb it down. We want to make the game a little bit, in a different way for him. And so now in these first 3 games, I see, I don't want to call it it's not a vanilla game plan, but we haven't seen them test the water at all, right? They haven't tested the water down the field, big plays, explosive, this, that, and the other thing. It's not these necessarily check downs. There's a lot of screens. There's a lot of crossing routes, a lot of out routes, a lot of things like that. will now having the games last year and specifically the 3 games this year, okay, and looking at Dylan and how he has control and command of this offense, is there another level to open this up to allow these big-time receivers that Rocco says, hey, Dad, I'm going to tell you right now, these guys are explosive. They can make big plays. Will they give them the opportunity today to do that? I think so. I think they wanted to get the chemistry and the gelling together by what you saw the first 3 weeks, and now it's time to open up everything. You have to. You're in the Big Ten now, man. This is the Big Ten season. What we got here?
Yeah, Uncle Andy
smells like crown.
Hey, Andy, what is this?
Captain.
Jack and Captain, or
No,
just Captain?
Jack and Captain's a wild combo. I think it's just Captain.
Jack and Captain, huh?
Just
Captain Jack, we'll call it. Cheers. That's what I'm talking about, folks. For this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Salute. Health, happiness.
Amen to that.
That is a big shot. That was more than one shot.
That was a good one.
Schmitty's wincing. He looks like he just got a body blow from Bud.
What's up, Buck? How we doing, brother?
Thank you. Yeah, that was something right there.
Schmitty has your gut
shell over here, and
hey-oh.
I will say that is better than the rumplements that we are occasionally brought.
Yeah, we have a listener, Scott.
God bless Scott.
God bless Scott. The average
Boy, that
Joe.
got me fired up. Got me a little warm in the belly, baby.
A little warm.
I'm ready to roll now.
Little warm and fuzzy.
Give me 2 claps to the ref fire. Woo! Love it.
But you have Scott, who always.
You all right?
I'm good. Brings
tears are in his eyes.
Your tongue's getting a little fat, my friend. Come on, open that mouth up. Let's go.
No, the Rumplemints is usually the shot that's brought to end the show and celebrate the show.
Oh, really?
But I mean, they're god awful. They're more punishment.
Still better. We did the Malort one time. Malort was awful.
Never did that.
Yeah, in the 80s. That Rumplemints was in the 80s, my friend. Come on.
So,
Rumplemints, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like going back to that other brown looking one. I can't Jägermeister.
Yeah. Oh, Jaeger's evil.
You know, I'll tell you, where are we going right now? I can tell you, chilled crown apple is pretty good. Chilled Fireball is pretty good as well. I like all the shots chilled are pretty good.
So if we're to let's play this game. If we're gonna put a drink associated with the Big Ten teams, we should do it. What drink is Nebraska?
Jack Daniels.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah,
good
they
old
are.
reliable.
Yeah, the good old reliable, just full body, tough, rugged, good.
Can hurt you.
Get your buzz on. Can hurt you.
Hardworking, blue collar.
Yeah. And now let's go to the next one. Who are we playing today?
Michigan. Michigan's white wine.
Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
Yeah. A good, and not even a good Sauvignon Blanc. Are you kidding me?
It's a pinky in the air.
Yeah.
Sweater vest.
Yeah. A little Sauvignon
And that's the
Blanc.
thing, like if you ask Colin Coward what Michigan is they're that sweater vest type football program. They think they're better than you.
Shout out Jim Tressel.
And I think
There's no doubt there's a level of arrogance there. I mean, listen, I live there. There's no doubt there's a level of arrogance. And look, they have a legendary program as well, but they think who they are. You know, until like Mike Tyson says, until someone punches them in the mouth.
And the evidence is kind of in that cheating scandal where they're stealing signs. What's Michigan's response? Who cares? You couldn't beat us anyway.
We had to get a little dirty. Doesn't matter.
It's that sweater vest, Wall Street kind of mentality. I will play a little bit dirty, but we'll win. It doesn't matter. What are you going to do to stop it? Like that's what Michigan
work
is
for
to
us
me.
someday anyway.
Right. It is something like that. But yeah, I like that. A little Jack Daniels versus a little Sauvignon Blanc today, right?
Ah, the old wine.
Both good, but one has just a little bit more punch.
A little punch. That's pretty good. Well, Uncle Andy delivering the rum shot there.
Please, no more.
No
mas.
We got to go to the press box, partners. So no more for us.
We're stumbling into the press box.
Yeah.
And then back.
Quickly asked to leave.
Yeah, I've been asked to leave before.
Dude, we got to go story time here with that. What happened?
Who's throwing you out?
I mean, look,
How
first
did
of
they
all,
get somebody
it's not
to
that I'm
throw
ever
you out?
short for opinions, right?
Right.
And then, look, you got to loosen yourself up. And I mean, and look, when you have an opinion and you're loosened up with some call it truth juice or swing juice, sometimes it just doesn't go well. And I just kindly say, look, maybe it's time for you to kind of
the
leave,
road,
because
Jack.
sometimes I can't keep my opinions to myself. And in the press box, you're not supposed to show any emotion one way or the other.
You're there to work,
right? You're there to work. You're there. Look at you're there to report the news, not create the news. and I'm more of a create the news podcast type of guy, where you say what you want, how you want, and why you want, right? Versus what is politically correct to say.
Well, there's been a lot of years where Nebraska has. We started this show off, and we all kind of said, "Are we or aren't we a procrastinator? You put it off." Too many times Nebraska's put off this moment. It's on to the next one. It's on to the next game this season, one at a time. But we covered the big picture, the here and now of this. And I got to ask about this, the turnover part of this conversation. And you played it and you saw it at the NFL level for a decade plus, on top of, high level of ball in college with Pitt. God, turnovers are such, it sounds so boring. Well, can you stop the run and turnovers? It's true. It is pure truth.
I think it's
turnovers.
statistically fact. Whoever wins the turnover battle, plus minus, not only generally wins the game, but, when you expand that across the entire season, those are the teams that are always in the playoffs. There's very rare that a team that loses the plus minus turnover battle makes it to the playoffs. So I don't understand how you can underestimate that. And you want to talk about, changing the dynamic of a football game instantaneously. Well, for Nebraska, when we get that pick six early in the game, you're going to see how it's going to change, right?
I want to hear about this dream before we go to break.
Is this a common thing?
It just happened. You dream results?
It happened last week, and I've been finding myself playing back on the field more and more again. Maybe that's because of the NIL money that's out there today. But it was great because the alarm went off instantly when I intercepted the ball. But this is what happened. We were on the field, right? And like they made like the tight end, he like shifted out, and so I kind of somewhat shifted out about
you were
halfway.
Covering the tight end?
Yeah, it was like I kind of shifted out halfway. Didn't go one-on-one with him, but he kind of like shifted out. I was playing defense end, and I kind of went about halfway between the hash mark and where he was, and we had a great blitz up the middle. And we were wearing red, by the way. There was red, right? And there was a blitz, and the guy threw off his back foot, and like the tight end went for it, and I went for it, and I got it, and stumbled across like 10 yards into the end zone, and everybody came and jumped on, and then we all were on the middle of the field, and I can remember, this is the funny part of it, because the alarm went off right because I remember this, because it happened instantly. I came running at the end, and as everybody was on the pile, I jumped on all my big 400 pounds, and they were down there going, "Get off me, get off me, get off me." and the whole crowd went crazy. And so I'm like, I wanted to tell my son this last night, going, I think this is going to happen. So I'm glad that I told it today, because I really believe there's going to be a big play that's going to happen. I can see a pick six happening today, get pressure on this young quarterback. He throws one up, and we, I see these highlights, and I don't know if from a year ago, if one of our guys, a pick six close down near the end zone, right?
That was Tommy Hill against Colorado.
Okay, yeah.
That was the Avalanche.
No, I saw that. I saw that in my dream. Okay, I saw that in my dream happening in this game.
Did you ever actually score any touchdowns in your football career?
Never. I had some interceptions. Intercepted John Elway, right?
Nice. Actually,
yeah. Ball went up there. I
Careful.
Intercepted Elway, yeah. So that was pretty good. I think I had another interception somewhere along the line with the Jets or something, but never scored. Got close a couple times. Fumbled, stumbled, bumbled, all down to the 1 yard line. Couldn't close the deal.
Did you intercept Elway in Denver?
In Denver. I have the ball.
Was it oxygen time?
Oh, yeah, look at it. I can tell you. I think it was minus 1 yard run. I think Mark Spindler came and cleaned my clock. He depleted me.
Mark Spindler.
Did Schlereth actually smell as bad as people said he did?
Here's the reality of the matter. I couldn't tell you whether he smelled or not, because he was one of the strongest human beings I ever played against. And when he grabbed a hold of you and he locked you out, I mean, you can have a personal conversation about anything, because you weren't going anywhere. You just might as well just stop and just start to talk, because once he grabbed a hold of you, it was over. I mean, Randall McDaniel's the same way. I mean, you're doing all this stuff. Like the guy's like, seriously, now you think you're going to get, these are like vice grips, grab a hold of you. I mean, no.
Well, we had a question in the stream chat.
We got to take a quick timeout.
Do we?
Yeah. Okay. Hang tight. Five minutes, and I'll let you get some more.
Well, can we quickly?
Justice is like, dude, we got to do it.
Out.
He's going over there. Break.
You get it. You get radio.
We got it usually runs 10 minutes over.
Well, we did have a quick question. So 30 seconds.
Yep.
We were asking the stream your arm day routine. What do you do for the arms?
What do? I generally push-ups are the greatest exercise there is, right? So you crank out some push-ups, and then I like double armed, with about 30s, 40s, 50s hammers, right? Yep. And then a couple turns out this way, and then you got to get on the preachers, and then you got to finish the whole thing out with like maybe 135 with the big 45-pound bar, just some really big gorilla curls where you're just using your back and everything else to get on there. Yeah,
that I haven't done. I'll have to pull that one out.
All right, I got to ask you about zone blitzing in just a moment. Quick timeout. The Average Joe Sports Show live here on the road here, Salt Mine City Brewing, as we are here ahead in Nebraska, Michigan here on KFOR, KFORnow.com.
More fiber and laxatives, eh? Who are you? I'm future you. Future me? Constipation with belly pain still coming back? Our doctor figured it out. It's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. And Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Progressive's teen driver discount could lower the cost of insurance for your teenager and save you some money. And then you can still spend money on them. Because just when you think you have a grasp on spending, new sneakers. And then it's money for a school field trip. And of course, spending money. Oh yeah, and a new phone to replace the one they dropped in the toilet. Oh, don't remind me. So just get Progressive's teen driver discount. And then you can continue to spend money on them endlessly. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states and subject to terms and conditions.
You're great at protecting your data, but lots of places could still expose you to identity theft. If that happens, LifeLock gives you the U.S.-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims. Your agent handles it all. In fact, they're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. It's nice to have an expert like that on your side. Save up to 40% off your first year with promo code Beck at LifeLock.com.
We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbal.
Back with your weekend edition, Average Joe Sports Show here at Salt Mine Brewing, as it is packed out. Mark Spindler still with us. The Iron Horse has appeared. Gary Sharp joining us. Is Sharpie frozen?
He may have frozen on us here.
All right, we'll try and find Sharpie. Mark, 5 minutes, my friend, and we'll let you get out.
No problem.
And you and your peeps, you're awesome. Thanks for hanging out. and zone blitz. Do you anticipate any of that? And the reason I bring it up, Nebraska's 95 team being honored. Coach McBride, dear friend of ours, he's with us every Monday, and they put the wrinkle into zone blitz Florida. Hilarity ensued as far as defensive scores and Nebraska mauling and routing that Florida team for its second consecutive national championship. Some of those tweaks, those wrinkles, where you drop a lineman, you bring a backer or somebody from the secondary as that unknown rusher. I mean, could you see some games like that from Butler?
For sure, absolutely. That, along with, like I said, a lot of different line stunts and a lot of different twists and a lot of like, make no mistake about it. Michigan, they have a good football team. The quarterback might be young and raw, but he has a lot of talent.
There you go, Brooke.
You have to be able to slow him down. You got to be able to shut him down. And at the end of the day, whatever you can do to create pressure, you're going to need to have the ability to be able to do that. And I think, like you said, you'll see it at times. You'll see different twists at times. I just don't think you're going to line up 4 guys and rush and try to get pressure on this quarterback. You're going to have to manufacture that. How they go about doing that is going to be interesting to see. But because, again, the good news is, from what I've seen, the defensive backs, I mean, they don't show up. And the reason why they don't show up is because nothing's been happening, right? Nothing's been happening. So that tells you it's a byproduct of really shutting a lot of people down. And when I've isolated in and watched those guys, because I'm normally watching those defense ends or tackles, there hasn't been a lot of space between them and the receiver, which is pretty damn good.
They are Marshall, a monster pickup. Sierra's been great. I want Singleton for his sake, and I know we're not supposed to root, but Singleton is a stand-up dude. He's a JUCO kid. He's the safety. He got cheap shotted to hell by Michigan 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Oh, they blew his knee out.
Oh, boy.
Like, right.
Second play of the game, I think.
Second play of the game. He's playing fast and furious. Crackback block. He was low, clearly.
Yeah.
And this is his Superman revenge game, in my
well,
opinion.
Again, we're talking about a lot of the different factors of motivation. From starting with the head coach saying, I don't have to be there. He's saying, that speaks volumes about what he thinks about this head coach, about this program as well. The respect that everyone wants to talk about their offensive line. By the way, they only have like 1 or 2 returning starters, and one of them's not even starting, versus our starting offensive line, and how great their front seven is, and how pathetic our front seven is in the fact that we've given up all these yards rushing. When you put all that in and you throw this in as well, there might not be no public, but bulletin board material, but behind the scenes, there's a lot of damn motivation for this team to go out there. And by the way, it's the first game in the Big Ten, and it's going to, create that pathway to the Big Ten championship. I don't think you need anything more than what you have right in front of you to go out and have a great game.
Mark,
you're awesome.
Last up before we get you out, if it's a win for Nebraska today, how are you celebrating post-game?
Oh, look at
You'll see.
I've already negotiated with my wife off the air how we're going to celebrate. And the funny thing about it is somewhere along the line, she is delusional to think that somewhere, like, I actually make a difference. Like I can make a phone call. I'm like, hey, no problem. I agree. Yeah, that sounds good to me. So there's no downside for me. But we'll be out late. We'll have a lot of fun regardless, one way or the other.
Mark, you're good stuff. I love
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
I'll see you next 2 weeks from now.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Here he is, Mark Spindler, with us here on the Average Joe Sports Show. Look at you, the victory celebration question.
Hey, I didn't know that's what the answer was going to be, so.
Well, we'll see if that's hilarious. So let's go to Hugh Hefner, somewhere in the North Bottoms. We welcome in the Iron Horse, Gary Sharp.
The sorority house.
You are looking live in the living room somewhere. Where are you at, brother?
I am not in a frat house, but I'm at a parents' weekend for Phi Psi. So I'm in their house in the North Bottoms.
Good work. Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate seeing you.
No problem. My connection and the noise might be a little off. There's a lot of people doing keg stands. A lot of people not wearing a lot of clothing. It's actually quite entertaining. It brings me back to the old days when all of us were in college.
Sharpie, it sounds like your ideal weekend. Keg stands and not a lot of clothing.
That would be correct.
Well, we have people doing the group therapy right now, saying naughty things about Michigan. It's a big
KU.
weekend.
It's Wonderwall's playing, and they're talking about KU.
Okay,
You know where I'm going with that one.
Okay. We have Uncle Andy here. Mark Spindler and his posse are here. Sharpie, your friend the Bunny, is here. I mean, she's down here for a tailgate. She's wondering where the Iron Horse is at.
Well, I would rather do it.
We lost Sharpie.
We know.
Reset. There we go. We got you back.
Hold on. Okay. So here's the deal. It feels like a big game atmosphere. Like, you look everywhere, there's people, the weather is great. I mean, this is awesome. This is what you go to the Big Ten to do, is you have games like this, opportunities like this. Man, that stadium's going to be rocking. I saw a member of the Bud Crawford posse a little bit ago, so I don't know if they brought the boxer with them, but part of the posse is in town, so we know what that means, possibly.
Yeah, no kidding. For sure. Sharpie, Gary Sharp with us, the Iron Horse Weekend Edition, the Average Joe Sports Show here at Salt Mine City Brewing. We are on the patio. We're back here for Real Red Reaction. Sharpie, let's get down to some football. And what are you feeling, man? What are you feeling for today?
I think it's an opportunity. I think, you know what? If Nebraska wins, there's more to discuss. If they lose, probably the stuff that we thought that could ail them through the first 3 games and when the season started, we would be concerned about. But I think they're well prepared. You know, it just comes down to, are you the better team today? You know, sometimes you play well and the other team plays well, and it comes down to a break. But this is an opportunity for Nebraska. I mean, we've heard all week of who's got the most to gain and who's got the most to lose. The one guy is Matthew Kenneth Rule. You know, they put a lot of a lot of preparation into this game, and I think they built to this game, but it's not the season. But it's another opportunity just to reinforce that the process is working. So you just line it up and go play. I think Nebraska's done everything leading up to this game to be prepared to play, and we're going to find out. You know, I think we know more about maybe Michigan than we do Nebraska, but we'll see at 2:30. But one thing is for sure, Nebraska will not look like Wisconsin does today, where they're not prepared. If you're watching Wisconsin, they don't look prepared in their game against Maryland. Nebraska will be prepared for this. Hell, they've been kind of working on Michigan since Tuesday of last week.
Gary, pressure is a privilege. That's what the high-level programs will tell you. Which program has more pressure on them today? Is it Michigan, knowing another loss takes them out of playoff contention entirely? Is it Nebraska with that pressure, knowing a win here changes the fortunes of your program, changes that trajectory of the rebuild under Matt Rule?
I think it's Nebraska. I mean, you know, they've built it up into year number 3 and everything that's been talked about and all of the streaks that are out there about Rule's record against ranked teams. Nebraska, of course. I mean, the iPhone 7 existed the last time Nebraska beat a ranked team. I mean, that's a long, long time ago. It's 3,290 days, by the way, since Nebraska won that game against Oregon, a team that would go on to be 4-8. So I don't know if it's pressure. It's just, you know, at some point, Nebraska has to start winning these games. They're given these opportunities, and in this year where they feel good about their team, they've got to take advantage of it. They're playing at home. They're a slight underdog some places. Some places it says pick 'em, but you're playing at home for a reason. You built it up for this game, and I think Nebraska is ready to handle the pressure because it's not about culture and past history. It's about, are you better than the other team? We don't have to worry about that. We just go out and play ball, which I think Nebraska's gotten to that point.
Gary Sharp with us, the Iron Horse, joining us, Weekend Edition, Average Joe Sports Show. We're here, Salt Mine City Brewing Company. We're on the patio. It's a glorious day. Little partly cloudy action, but just 70s and just perfect for college football. A Big Ten tilt, statement opportunity for Nebraska. What's your take on Dillon, Gary? Does Nebraska say just go let her rip within the confines? They got to take their shots for sure today. But do you see, you know, Michigan when they played conservative, they got beat. They didn't do their offense any favors. I think Nebraska's measured today, Bud, But I think Nebraska is also going to pick their spots with their aggressiveness. Talk to me about Dana and his impact.
Well, I think the one thing they're going to do is, get the ball out quick. So they're.
Oh, it was going to be an incredible take from Sharpie.
Justice, can we try getting Sharpie on the phone lines here?
Yeah, let's get Sharpie on the horn. Let's call him up and let's find a picture. I hope we screenshot of that because he does look like Hugh Hefner right there. Where Sharpie's sitting in a living room. There's curtains, and it looks very high level, high end. And then Sharpie, like a soap opera doctor, rips the glasses off right before he starts pontificating. I mean, it's pretty cool.
See, Sharpie's in heaven right now. Parents' weekend. I'm sure there's some single moms
parents'
around.
Weekend for.
Hey, if Sharpie's going to make all the jokes about my dad's lovely girlfriend, I'm going to make a couple jokes about Sharpie. So
we got Sharpie on the horn here, guys.
We do. We were wondering about the Elijah, I'll let you say the choices for Parents' Weekend and single mothers.
Yeah, single moms around, Gary. I know you're talking about my dad's girlfriend, so I know you're on the prowl. I was just wondering if there's anything around for you.
I'm not on the prowl, but there are a lot of single moms.
I am on my way.
Yes. Hey, you know where we're located here in the bottoms. But I will say the vibe, by the way, here is very optimistic. I'm learning a lot about the fraternity culture of UNL that I did not have the opportunity to experience. But back to Dylan, because that's what you guys would like to talk about.
Dana, we asked about Dana.
Oh, Dana. I think, it's interesting how the one thing about Nebraska with Dana is we talk about Dylan looks different, and the offense is kind of they don't have a lot of cowboy plays. They just take the spots and everything that's given to them. Nebraska has to score points. They have to find a way to put the ball in the end zone. When they cross the 40, it has to be at least 3, but you'd love 7, because here's the stark reality of this offense under Dana is since he's been the offensive coordinator, they scored 20 at USC, scored 44 against Wisconsin, and then they went 10, 20, and 20. So I think it's going to take at least 3 touchdowns to win the football game today. So how does he go up against Wink Martindale? You got an NFL defensive coordinator on the other side. You got Holderson. This is kind of one of those games where if our quarterback is following the path of being an NFL draft pick, this is where if I'm an NFL team, I'm looking at him today because he's going against an NFL defensive coordinator that's got guys that are eventually going to play in the NFL on defense. So I think if they're in tune together, I think that's very important today, and I think they will be. They've been on the same page. You also have a thing also to consider this, guys. Nebraska has to run the ball. We've talked all week about can Nebraska stop the run. Nebraska has to run the ball with Emmett, and how do they run it? Do they have quarterback handoff game, or do they run some inside slot stuff? Do they run some stuff with Mosey? So I think this is all into Dana's bag. How soon does he get into the bag, and how soon are they effective?
It's Gary Sharp with us here on a pregame edition of the Average Joe Sports Show. The Iron Horse joining us from Parents' Weekend. And Sharpie, what's your take on Nebraska inside the 10-yard line? It hasn't been great against Cincinnati, against Akron, against Houston Christian. When they get down in that goal-to-go scenario, what does Nebraska do to get better in that regard against Michigan?
They got to run the ball. I think there's an advantage to running the ball inside of the 10 because the field shortens, of course, if you're trying to throw it. I think Nebraska will run a lot of heavy sets today. I think 12 personnel, maybe even go some 13 personnel today. I think they will try and match the physicality of Michigan. I think you lean into it, and Nebraska would like to be known as a physical team. So I think when they get inside of the 10, I think you're going to see a lot of those jumbo sets. Also, I think you'll see Turner Corcoran as an extra blocker. So they're going to try everything to be able to run the football. But, of course, we know the whole scenario. Don't get in those situations. Score from outside. I also think, guys, who's going to have the most explosive plays? You look at Justice Haynes. He's got 8 runs of 15 yards or more. He has that 75-yard run against Oklahoma. But when Michigan has not had explosive plays, they've struggled to move the football. They did that a lot against Central Michigan with big plays. I think Nebraska needs to find some explosive plays so you're not in that scenario where you're 10 yards in and everybody goes, uh-oh. But there's the other part of this also. Don't forget about Kyle Cunanan. Nebraska's been good kicking field goals, and they also have trust in him if they're going to kick him short between 20 and 30, or are they going to go back and they're going to let him attempt a 52-yard field goal, knowing that if he doesn't make it, then Michigan's going to have the ball all on the 35-yard line with good field position.
Garby, I wanted to ask you quickly. You actually rolled into the special teams take, talking about Kyle Cunanan. What do you think the special teams impact has to be from Mike Eckler's unit, whether it's Archie Wilson, Kyle Cunanan, or the fact that Michigan's already muffed 2 punts this year, and there's been word through the grapevine that they're going to try to go after some of the returners and see if they can get one muffed. What do you think that the special teams level has to be at today for Mike Eckler's crew?
Hey, Justice, that's a great point because Michigan hasn't been great on special teams. Their return guys are not like they've been in the past, and also they've gone 2 straight games where they've missed field goals. So, in this game where field position is going to be huge, they got to be able to flip the field. So we're going to see Archie Wilson, and everything we've heard out of this week is Archie Wilson is Archie Wilson. He's the real deal. But now the pressure ramps up a little bit. I think they'll need him a lot. Also, I think they're going to try and, the way they do their coverage and their scheme to protect, I think they're going to try and break one with Jacory. They're going to have things set up. This is one of those games where Eckler comes into play where you're like, we can win the field position. And Nebraska's done a good job of playing in the margins, and you'll have to play in the margins big time today.
Gary Sharp with us, the Iron Horse Weekend Edition. The Average Joe Sports Show, it is just massively packed down here in the Haymarket as we're at Salt Mine City Brewing. Good stuff from Mark Spindler earlier. Great stuff here from Gary Sharp, the Iron Horse. Mark Kranak en route. Kranak had to park in Waverly.
The parking was packed down here at 9 a.m.
It was. And we will have Brandon Vogel at 1:30. Sharpie, we've talked offense, defense, special teams. I'm interested here on some numbers here. Is it going to be an okay day for the Nebraska defense? Does the combo got to be under 150 and 2 explosives for Nebraska's defense today when it comes to Underwood and Haynes? He had the one run against Oklahoma, obviously, but I'm saying 150 rushing numbers. Is that okay? Is that acceptable? Is that formula for a win with the Nebraska defense? I think the secondary will be fine.
Yeah, I think, speaking of the secondary, Hartzog is questionable. He's on the availability list is questionable. You guys brought up Singleton earlier. Hey, this is the kind of game. Singleton, I think, is trending towards being one of the top safeties in the Big Ten, the way he's played the first 3 weeks. Elijah brought up his injury in this game a couple of years ago. It'll be big for him. I think if you gave me that scenario right now, I think Nebraska would be in a good position. I think the one thing that you look at Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's defense is better than Nebraska, especially on the front seven, is Oklahoma did a great job of clogging the lane. I think it's not necessarily the D. Everybody wants the D in this game. Well, how about the discipline? I think 15 and 96, we want them to rush Underwood, but we also want them to be able to contain Underwood. I think Underwood is scarier than Dillon from the standpoint of Underwood can play off script, and he can become playground. And the next thing you know, he's weaving his way down the field, and that's not something you plan for. So I think Nebraska has to be really good at containing and keeping things inside, because Oklahoma was able to do that, except for the Haynes big run at 75 yards. But outside of that, they really clogged everything up for Michigan and made it tough to be on offense. I also wonder, guys, the wild card in all of this on how Nebraska defends is it true? Do they want Underwood to throw the ball, use his legs? I think we'll see more legs from Underwood than him throwing the ball, because I think they're definitely afraid of Nebraska defensive backs.
Gary, one of the things I said yesterday on our show, I don't get your take on it. I said that Nebraska is more prepared for Michigan by their game against Cincinnati than Michigan is prepared for Nebraska by their game against Oklahoma. And by that, I mean Cincinnati wants to beat you the same way Michigan wants to beat you, which is ground and pound, a quarterback that can do it in the air, a quarterback that can do it on the ground. Am I on the money there? I know Oklahoma is a much better team than Cincinnati is, but what's your take on my thoughts there that Nebraska, their game against Cincinnati, prepares them well for Michigan?
I could vibe with part of that. It's a little bit different because Mateer ran in that game. He had 74 yards rushing, and we don't expect Dillon to take off and run. But I think in terms of for Nebraska, what they saw with Cincinnati, also keep in mind, that it was late in the game when they instituted a spy. I don't think Nebraska will go to a spy right away in this game, but they have worked on it since Cincinnati on who's going to be the guy about containing Underwood. I think from Nebraska's standpoint, They also were a little bit different on their defensive line. You guys remember, they were rotating all kinds of guys, and they were doing stunts that kind of got exposed by Cincinnati. In the last 2 weeks, whether they have had to or not, they really haven't rotated a ton of guys from play to play, and they haven't done a lot of stunts. They kind of played straight up. So I'll be curious to see how quickly they play straight up. I think I know more about probably Michigan because they played Oklahoma and maybe the way they'll attack Nebraska than maybe Nebraska attacking Cincinnati or vice versa. But that's the thing about this week is everybody goes, well, are you prepared? Well, you can only play the teams that you are in front of you. I think individually Nebraska's gotten better. Now as a collective unit, we're about to find out pretty quick. I also think it's important, guys, that Nebraska grabs the lead. I don't trust Michigan if Michigan has to play behind by more than 2 scores. So it's important if Nebraska is able to grab the lead, that they're able to add to the lead and have game control, which they really have for 3 weeks.
Sharpie will wind it down and enjoy the Phi Psi House Parents Weekend. You and your Hugh Hefner setup, brother, was incredible. Real quick here, about 90 seconds. Do we see Harburg in the Wildcat in the red zone?
Yes, you will. You will see him. Like I think they will. They will have a lot of jumbo sets, of power sets, and it might not just be in the red zone, Schmitty. It might be 3rd and short where they bring him in. But the thing is, what has Nebraska done in that package for 3 games when they've used it? They've run the ball. Let's see if they're committed to the run when they get into a package, or will they do something different that Michigan hasn't seen on tape? You know, watch when they do that, how many guys Michigan puts up on the line of scrimmage and into the box. Do they have anybody that is guarding against somebody sneaking out? I think that's something to watch if Nebraska gets in that scenario.
Gary, 15 seconds. If Nebraska wins today, who's the MVP?
The MVP will be the defense.
Good answer. The Iron Horse, it is Gary Sharp with us here, weekend edition of the Average Joe Sports Show. Sharp, you will see in the box, brother.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Appreciate you. Mark Kranak en route and now here. He parked in Waverly. God love him. All right, we continue on with the Michigan-Nebraska preview.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I got to fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SAFE25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SAFE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SAFE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code SAFE25.
Hi, this is Jeff Mall with Visit Lincoln. As kids return to school and retransition seasons, Husker football and volleyball excitement is in the air, and so is the resulting economic impact on our local economy. Thousands converge on Lincoln for game day weekends, oftentimes staying multiple nights in our community and enjoying all that the city has to offer. Most recent studies have indicated that the economic impact each football game day is $6 to $7 million and can be felt in hotels, restaurants, and all sectors of retail, broadening our tax base of visitor spending. One item of note this year is for football fans, we will have a new pregame destination for home games at Memorial Stadium. The Cornhusker kickoff will take place inside the Hawks Championship Center just outside of Memorial Stadium gates. Free for Husker fans, the area will feature live entertainment, kids' activities, food and beverage, Husker merchandise, and appearances, as well as autographs from current and former student athletes and coaches. I'm proud of tourism in our community, and it's one more thing I enjoy about life in Lincoln. I'm Jeff Mall.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you could get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify
Lincoln's
for,
local news, talk, sports, and weather station. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR. We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbal.
Rolling into the third hour here of the Nebraska-Michigan pregame show. Schmitty and Kranek busy taking a picture. So it's Elijah Herbal and Justice Rhodey taking you through while they get set up here. We also have Tanner maybe throwing the headset on in a second. I don't know. I don't think Schmitty knows we're back on the air, so I'm just going to rock and roll here. We have Mark Kranek joining us shortly. Brandon Vogel joins us at the bottom of the hour, 1:30. We'll get some final thoughts, some final predictions from one Brandon Vogel. Kranek throws the headset on. We're live right now, Kranek.
Well, then we might as well talk on the radio. That's probably a smart thing to do.
Where did you end up parking?
Kind of across the street from Haymarket Park.
Okay, that's not terrible.
It's kind of interesting. It's $10. It's a huge grass lot, some abandoned, God only knows what, but a lot of land. It was only $10. So not bad.
Did you purposefully go thrifty?
Well, what, for this year? Well,
no, for this game.
Oh, well, not necessarily. I just knew that it would be very difficult to find anything, and I gave up my parking this year. I used to have garage parking, but it takes like 2 hours to get out. It's terrible.
I will say, anything more than $10 for parking on a Husker game day, yeah, I think you're getting ripped off just a little bit. There's a lot of $10 lots where it requires a little bit of walking.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing like $40 and $50 parking garages and lots, and I'm like, good. Well, that's as much as a game ticket for a bad game.
Exactly, yeah.
Like if you're coming to the Houston Christian game, you might pay more for parking than for your ticket.
You know what was kind of surprising? I'm sure you guys have seen it. Early arriving crowd today for sure.
Oh,
traffic.
It was nuts here at 9:45.
Yeah, I mean, three and a half hours before the game is when I finally got on the road from Omaha. It was smooth sailing. It was not bad at all to where I'm just like, okay, so everybody's already there because usually it's a beast.
I was expecting it to be, oh wow, look at that, the Snitley boys coming through with the beer for Mr. Kranek. I was expecting when I got down here at 9:45 for there to be some street spots open. I'm parked way over by the Capitol. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. Enjoy the game.
Hey, good seeing you, man.
Mark Spindler.
You know, a lot of Marks here on the show today, but it was bumper to bumper traffic here in the Haymarket at 9:45 this morning.
That's incredible. Yeah, and it's on these kinds of stages where, you know, Nebraska recently hasn't really rose to the challenge, right? With Cincinnati, I would say that was almost similar. Obviously not the same kind of name brand recognition as you're going to get in Michigan today, but just in terms of the scene, just in terms of the setting, you know, it's your opener, it's in a pro stadium, right? Stakes were still very high. You know, Nebraska losing that Cincinnati game,
is that vodka?
Would have been really bad. That would have been a really, really horrible way to start the year. So in that case, can we trust this Nebraska team that they have exercised some demons and don't play a different brand of football all of a sudden because it's a big game and because it's a good opponent. Do they play that same brand, which I would say they have one. After 3 games, this is about the most identity that Nebraska has had offensively and defensively, special teams also. It's pretty clear what their identity is through 3. It's been pretty consistent. You're not going to get those same results today. You're not going to score 60 or whatever. But is it that same
kind of
brand?
cool if they did.
It kind of would.
What is
It kinda would.
Mark? What's your concern to confidence ratio as you step into this game here? Like nervousness to confidence, where are you at in that sliding scale?
If that was a continuum and 10 was concerned and 1 was confident, 6.5. A little bit
more concerned than confident.
Yeah, only because even though it's not vintage Michigan, as people have been saying, vintage Michigan won the national championship, right? So, like, the bar was pretty damn high. They had room to come down from that and still be freaking good, right? And I think that's what you're seeing today. Bryce Underwood, for as young of a guy as he is, you've seen him.
We looked good last week. They are done putting the handcuffs on him. They're done with the Justice Rhodey electronic ankle monitor. With Biff in charge, Biff's going to let him go do his thing.
Yeah,
and win some battles, lose some battles, but realizing you can't cage him. That's dangerous today.
100%. It's you kind of don't know. They have now shown sort of the array of capabilities that he has. Which ones will they turn loose? Which ones will they prioritize? You don't know, but you've seen it all now. And he has seen a raucous atmosphere on the road. And
someone's going Bob Marley.
It smells like a Grateful Dead concert around here.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That might have been my IPA, which is also very piney.
No,
talking.
It's not.
No, I saw somebody was crossing the street and lighting something up.
Well, I think it's legal now medically. Maybe.
No,
not quite.
Yet.
It's on the way. Oh, I smell that now. Yep. Okay. Just rip a freaking water bong on your way down the street.
It's a big weekend with Nebraska-Michigan win. ... You hear one love.
That's right. That's right. It's good matchup today, though, I think. I don't quite know what to make of Nebraska's run defense, which I know is a primary concern. And, of course, when you lose Nash and Ty, great. But I don't know that Cincinnati, even though they racked up yards, did they do that by running it down Nebraska's throat? Or did they do that on broken plays with a 6'3" Tebow lookalike running downfield, breaking some tackles?
Upon my rewatch of the Nebraska-Cincinnati game, a couple things stood out to me. I rewatched that game a lot. First things first, one of the concerns for Nebraska was that Cincinnati's offensive line didn't have to double team Nebraska's defensive line in order to get to second level. That was one of the big things, is they had offensive linemen that got hands on Nebraska's linebackers, made things tough on them. Nebraska's defensive line did not get pushed around in the way I thought they did. It was just that they did not demand double teams, which you need to do as a defensive lineman. That's the next step. You need to have an offensive line that circles guy and says, if we don't double team him, it's going to be a long day. Slight concern there, yes. I also thought Nebraska's linebackers, again, they had offensive linemen in their drills all night long, but they seemed to play a little slow, a little tentative, like they were right. They were reading and not reacting.
Yep.
And I think you saw Nebraska's linebackers get a little better in that regard against Akron, against Houston Christian. What does that mean against Michigan? I don't know. Their offensive line is going to be more athletic than Cincinnati's. It's going to be bigger than Cincinnati's. I think Cincinnati had a good offensive line. I think Michigan has a good offensive line. They're slightly different in that regard. But to me, it comes down to, can somebody on Nebraska's defensive line demand a double team? A. B, did Nebraska's linebackers play faster? If they can do those two things, Michigan will still get theirs on the ground. It's what Michigan does. But it can go from being catastrophic to something that you can manage. A good offensive output can overcome what Michigan can do on the ground.
So I'm glad you brought that up about the linebackers where they played a little tentative, because that's sort of how I viewed how the defensive line has been too, which may have led to no double teams. It just feels like they were feeling it out.
Yep.
And it feels like Cincinnati, for whatever reason, credit their coaching staff or their preparation, I guess, but it feels like they were very ready for that game. They were moving quicker. Nebraska seemed to be operating at about 80% of max capacity. But that is probably because it's a lot of inexperienced dudes that aren't really used to the pace. And practice pace is different from game pace. it's a little different to face a Power 4 opponent week one. A lot of times you're facing some garbage team, so they had to adjust to that speed right away. They eventually did. They eventually settled in. But I do wonder if we're making too much of this defensive line. They're just going to get pushed around, and Michigan's going to maul them. I haven't seen the defensive line get bludgeoned and obliterated. I've seen broken plays go for long runs, but I haven't seen line up and just drive it down the field on them at all.
They're quick and they're athletic. They're not wide-bodied and
they're not
center blocks.
What I saw
it's
2 years ago,
style.
I saw 2 years ago from Michigan was probably the best offensive line I've seen in the 21st century in college football. That offensive line was maulers. They were road graders. It was an easy 4 or 5 yards a pop in any game they played, no matter which defensive line they were playing.
And they knew where the defense was going to be, so that helped.
Yeah, that offensive line 2 years ago for Michigan was dominant.
Yeah,
Michigan's offensive line is still good. They are not the dominant force they were 2 years ago. Now, can they still be not as good as they were 2 years ago and push around Nebraska's defensive line? It's possible. It's your concern as a Husker fan going into this game. They're still Michigan. But make that clear. They are not the dominant force they were 2 years ago. I have them as a good, not great offensive line, which wins you a lot of games in the Big Ten, but it's not the type of offensive line that carries you to a national championship single-handedly like they did 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, completely.
Mark Cranack with us here. We're on site, Salt Mine City Brewing, the weekend edition of the Average Joe Sports Show, 8th in R, where we're at, 801 R. We're on the patio. It's a little bit cloudy, but sunshine raining through. It is a beautiful day for football. And if you're a Nebraska fan, beautiful day for a ranked win to stay unbeaten and kind of kickstart what could be a breakthrough season. Elijah Herbal is here. Justice Rhodey back in studio. Cranack is here. Captain Vocal in the stream chat. Of course, Mark Spindler with us here for quite a bit of this pregame show. Gary Sharp joined us from a fraternity house. that looked like a pretty good time. Mama was here with Carla for a little bit as part of this tailgate extravaganza. Okay. Now she's off to the Union to check in on Junior.
Oh, that's very okay. Okay, hopefully he's doing well. I'm sure he appreciates that too.
Well,
being chaperoned by mom as he's in college.
Between Mama and Carla, I mean, they're going to probably both turn heads with some of the freshmen and sophomores.
Okay. Okay.
Do we have concerns about Junior getting after it too hard on a day like
Junior? Junior, he showed up last night after we got done down here, and he's like, "Where are you taking me to dinner?" Like, all right, dude, you're a freshman in college. Why are you home on a Friday night? He's like, "Oh, I've got a DD later." So he had to work from 9 to 3 a.m. picking up the upperclassmen of his fraternity house from the bars.
Yeah, got it.
So he had the DD last night, and he had to be up and clean the house this morning at 6:30.
Oh, nothing like some old Milwaukee light that is just stained
on the carpet and the drapes.
Perfect.
So Junior's now at the Union getting after it. Well, maybe not getting after it, but he's present at the Union.
He should be getting after it. If I was Junior, I'd be getting after it.
Have you noticed that 1 out of 3 Michigan fans either look like they're in a militia or spend their summers in Nantucket?
We're going to militia with Michigan yet again.
Your militia take for Michigan State was a lot of flannel, and a lot of jawbeards, and a lot of Bob Seger.
Yeah. Oh God. Yes. Yes. And a lot of certainty that there is tyranny in government, and they are ready to overthrow it. 1 out of 3 Michigan fans fits that profile. Either they're in a militia,
they're white
and they're prepared for tyranny, or they spend their summers in Nantucket.
Yeah, or it's sweater vest, white wine, and cheese.
I mean, take the sweater and just put it over your shoulders and tie it already, and then pop the collar. Like, we know that's what you want to do. It's an interesting group.
I will say the Michigan fans that I've all run into have been gracious, good fans. I've enjoyed having their presence in Lincoln because it's not always like that with visiting fan bases.
Yeah,
it's been for the most part a good crowd. Fans that they're not Husker fans, but they have that same kind of gracious traveling road fans that you would hope to see from a visiting fan base. I will say that. I'll give them their flowers. I haven't talked to every Michigan fan downtown. There's always bad apples, but I think there has been, for the most part, a good traveling contingent from Michigan.
The problem with it, we talked yesterday, Elijah Kranek, is Nebraska's lost these games, so opposing fan bases hear about how gracious and great the Nebraska fan base is. They are, but they roll in saying, hey, it's going to be a tough ball game, but guess what? It's going to be a win for the boys on the road.
Yeah.
That's what it's been the last 10 years.
Yeah, there is a certain confidence with them, as there should be. You know, they're only a couple years removed from a national title run, so you understand it. Look, it is an upper echelon Big Ten team coming in today that is stout, right? The worst player on Michigan was probably pretty highly recruited. You know,
by everybody.
Yeah, they just have their floor is different than Nebraska's floor. They're operating from a different level. Now, I do wonder. I can understand how you would obliterate a Central Michigan by 60 plus and keep your starters in a long time under an interim head coach. I do wonder the cumulative effect, though, of Sharon Moore's absence now going into over a week.
I think it helps. I think Biff is a guy that the kids love Sharon. I don't doubt that. But Biff is not an overthinker.
No.
And I think he's a guy that Harbaugh brought in to bounce stuff off of. I think Biff's a gut guy, no pun intended. I saw him on the corner in front of the Graduate yesterday with a sweater, with his Michigan, golf sweater on, talking to some Michigan fan just as the buses were parked. I mean, Biff's a normal dude that's a multimillionaire from Wall Street, by the way.
It's hard to call it a multimillionaire from Wall Street with a hedge fund.
But Biff's
a normal guy.
He
drives a Rolls Royce to practice every day.
He's a normal guy in the sense
that's not a joke. He does.
He really knows the psychology of people. He's that guy.
I've gone 2-year stretches without even seeing a Rolls Royce. That's how rare that is. But it goes to show, just like I was saying about Michigan, militia or Nantucket, right? Well, there's 2/3 of the people are in between that. It sounds like he's both, so that's interesting, right? He's kind of he's that everyday guy that stumbled into some cash. I mean, your name's Biff. You kind of grow up different, right? So I think it makes a little sense.
You know what's interesting about his hedge fund? We were talking about this, and he's a guy that was great on Wall Street, ended up using the money that he made on Wall Street. He funded a high school football program, turned them into winners.
Yeah, in Maryland,
helped a lot of kids.
He helped a lot of kids. By all accounts,
DeMatha or something?
A good dude. It was St. Francis Academy in Baltimore. So he fully funded that program by himself, paid for all the players to come into the academy and play, which maybe there's some recruiting there. But the interesting thing, though, when he got out of Wall Street? 2007. Interesting timing there, huh?
Oh, so he's trustworthy. That's great. That's great.
Got out in 2007.
That's great.
But he did turn over his hedge fund into former players, so at least he takes care of the former players.
Granak, what do you think about Dylan today? Is it going to be Michigan's pressure that adds to a rattled Nebraska quarterback, or do you see this meet the moment situation where Dylan's just dealing and he is absolutely the band leader today for Nebraska's offense?
I think it's that. The one thing about Dylan, where it was some of the most specific and maybe odd critique that you're going to have of a quarterback, but you remember him coming in, the biggest concern I had with him is that he stands in the pocket too long. Honestly, because that's how he was raised. He was raised by a 14-year veteran of the NFL center that you are not going to bail out. You are going to stand in there. You're going to deliver the ball. That much was clear. What I was more worried about is, does he know when to evade and how to evade? In high school, he didn't have to worry about it. He'd have dudes hitting him, and he was big and sturdy and strong enough that he could still deliver a ball. The Big Ten, you cannot do that. And it was the Illinois game last year where they brought the pressure up the middle that he just had not ever seen. And it was obvious. So it's not like he was scared. He just had
no
never
time.
seen it, right? He gets the ball, and he's just sort of like, I don't know what to do. I bet you he's figured out what to do by now. He's been through a season. We don't have to worry about whether he's got happy feet. Like, is that a concern of yours with Dylan? Is that he gets happy feet and rushes a throw?
It is when it comes to pressure and if there's trust or not. And there's been instances where he's missed. He's missed guys that have been open. He's sped up his reads. This isn't pinata time on Dylan. It's reality. The Tom Brady's of the world, the Marinos, the Montana quarterbacks that are great and want to be great all deal with this. If you got dudes at your feet on that interior rush, you are going to be off.
I can choose or pick on one hand the number of quarterbacks I know that somehow get better under pressure. It's a very, very rare thing to do. The play that stands out for Dylan under pressure was that 4th down against Cincinnati where the blitz comes from the opposite way he's expecting. He takes 2 steps back, fires off his back foot, and it should have been a pick 6 for Cincinnati. That's the play that stands out.
Yeah.
That's the play that stands out.
And but the thing is, that's my point. There are so few of those instances where you're like, oh, man, he got happy feet and he made a horrible decision. It just doesn't happen a lot. Is it going to happen sometimes? Of course, right? It's going to happen sometimes. And you hope that the entirety of your team is able to overcome the occasional mistake. Did you notice against Houston Christian, I think it was in the first quarter, and you'll know what I'm talking about when I say this if you did see it. Did you remember his climb the pocket completion?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. We haven't talked a lot about that. Have you ever seen that from Dylan? I haven't. I believe it was the first quarter, and I believe it was a marginal completion somewhere between 8 and 12 yards. I don't know exactly who it was to, but it stood out when you saw him. He had pressure coming, right? Kind of around his flanks. He took sort of 2 wide steps to climb the pocket, delivered a strike, 1st down Nebraska. And it was like, that's some veteran right there. That's some veteran stuff right there, right? As a sophomore. You don't see that a lot. I don't know if I've seen that much since like Zach Taylor. I don't know if Adrian Martinez ever did that. I don't know if Taylor Martinez ever did that. I don't know if Tommy Armstrong ever did that, right? Because it takes a certain amount of moxie to recognize what's happening, to employ the right technique to get around what's happening, and then to complete the play. He did all of that. Climbing the pocket is not you just don't see it a lot unless you're a really good quarterback. For him to display that in year 2 tells me that he recognizes that you can't have those wasted plays. You have to figure out which tool to employ when there's pressure. Against Illinois last year, he didn't know what tool he literally didn't know. Right? And it just feels like he's refined his game over and over. I don't get concerned about what he does under pressure.
Let's talk about his mate in the backfield, Mark. What do you want to see today from Emmett Johnson? All the conversation from national talking heads this week, it's about Justice Haynes, and for good reason. He's been a dominant running back through 3 games of the season. Emmett Johnson's been good, though. What do you want to see from him? Well, what inspires confidence in you if we see it from Emmett Johnson?
I would say that Emmett is very good. He can keep doing and approaching the game like he does now and be a very effective and very good player. For him to be a great player, I actually think he needs to relax a little bit. It looks to me like his effort level is almost too far.
Once it's too bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like you want it a little too much. I think he needs to give himself a little time to – I'm talking about milliseconds here. But you know those types, right? You know the natural running backs that just kind of let things happen. See a crease go. Amir Abdullah was one of the best at that. He wasn't all one speed. I feel like Emmett is kind of all one speed, which is and he's running hard. And so you'll take it, right? I'm not saying that this is bad bench Emmett. I'm just saying I don't think he has very much finesse, and I think he needs just a little finesse. And if he gets some of that, he gets into great territory instead of very good, which is where he's at now.
Mark Kranak with us, the weekend edition of the Average Joe Sports Show, where here at Salt Mine Brewing Company, 801 R Street. This for future reference. Amazing Nebraska brews. How is your IPA?
It was fantastic. It was pretty small. This is only 4 ounces. You can
No,
tell.
no. That's at
No,
least
I'm
8.
very small person. This is 4 ounces. So
Krainak has shack hands, apparently.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was pretty solid. What a great setup.
Yeah,
It
this is
here
good.
at Salt Mine Brewing. And if people can't tell by watching on the stream,
We're on
you're
the
right on
street.
8th Street.
Yep.
Right in the thick of the Haymarket. I mean, you're like right in the Haymarket. It's what a great time. I know this is the type of scene that when folks from out of town come to games here are shocked by. Right? They come here, they're thinking Lincoln, whatever, cornfields, here's this, that. And then you see something like this and you're like, damn, this is one of the cooler downtowns I've ever been to. And it's like it kind of has a city the size of Lincoln kind of has no business having this big and cool of a downtown.
I've been to a good number of road games. Still haven't seen a Husker win on the road, which is shocking.
Because they haven't existed.
I have not seen a pregame environment that comes close to what Lincoln has with the Haymarket, with some of those tailgating opportunities down by Haymarket Park. It really is. There is the experience no matter what type of fan you are. If you're a tailgater, they have it. If you are one of those people who wants to go hit bars and restaurants in a downtown setting, downtown Lincoln has it. You have the campus environment where you can go see some of the students. You can go see some of that on-campus feel. Everything that you want in a pregame experience, no matter what type of fan you have, Lincoln has. It's perfect. I have not seen a pregame environment that rivals what Nebraska has.
It's a feast for the eyes, man. You have unit trains from Wyoming screaming right through the middle of tailgates. There's a lot happening. You're in a straight urban environment underneath major infrastructure of like interstates. Yeah, it's different. I will tell you, out of all the road games that we've been to, if it's ever Miami, don't go there in September because all you're going to be doing is looking for any amount of shade that you could possibly find.
Tell that to College Game Day.
Oh, my God. It's brutally hot. Washington was pretty cool. I was a little younger, though, for that. Cal was pretty cool because that's like you're like Haight-Ashbury where like the doors were discovered and whatever. Like that's pretty
Grateful
cool.
Dead.
But Oregon's pretty dope.
Is it
And
awesome?
Oregon's
So you're
pretty
telling me
freaking cool.
Next year we got to get out there.
Oregon's pretty freaking cool because think of like the North Bottoms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's sort of like, but now elevated a little bit. North Bottoms,
the community you're saying.
North Bottoms coming up a little bit. There are head shops and breweries and distilleries made out of houses, right? You're like, what the hell is going on? There are garbage trucks that have been converted into tailgate, paradises. I'm telling you, it's different. And then you walk, probably. then you walk through.
That's what Oregon's known for.
Then you walk through a beautiful trail over a babbling brook, surrounded by trees, and then the Death Star rolls up. It's cool. Oregon is very cool.
So road trip, Oregon.
As we talk about the downtown scene here, and before we get you out, we're up against a break.
Yeah.
I want to get your thoughts. We've seen plenty of Husker fans here. What are the Husker fans that are walking past us here? What do they need to see in the first quarter to get them juiced, to get them excited, to get them in this game for 4 quarters?
3 and out.
Yeah. Do you start with the defense
You
on the
kick
field
it,
if possible?
you go 3 and out, and you take the ball and score.
I don't know if you take – right, yeah, that's a good question. Do you take the ball or do you play defense?
Because what concerns you about sending the defense out there is that 14-play Michigan drive where they pound it down your throat and take the crowd out of it and take 8 minutes off the clock.
And it's because it's scripted. And you haven't even been able to touch the ball yet. I know what you're saying. It's a very interesting call. But I think you'll know based on who wins the toss, what they elect to do, how they're feeling about their team, and what their chances are.
It's Mark Krainak with us here, weekend edition of the Average Joe Sports Show. Quick timeout. We'll check in with Brandon Vogel from Counter Reed. That's on the way. We're here at Salt Mine City Brewing as we get you ready for Nebraska, Michigan, an hour away. Don't forget Real Red Reaction here from Salt Mine City Brewing, 6-ish tonight, reacting to Nebraska, Michigan. Krainak, thank you much, brother. Appreciate you. Love you, brother.
All right, fellas.
All right, quick timeout, and Bogues is on the way here with the Average Joes.
Hi,
Hi, this is Dave with Dave's Heating and Air, Lincoln's local family-owned heating and air business.
Dave's Heating and Air is Lincoln's professionals you can trust. Whether you need service, repairs, or a new system, Dave's is here for you. Dave's wants your home to feel comfortable and cozy. Get the peace of mind guarantee and call Dave's for your HVAC needs.
Call me today at 402-480-3004 and talk with a professional. Dave's Heating and Air, doing whatever it takes.
I could tell something wasn't right. My buddy Jake just wasn't himself. He seemed down. I was concerned about him and asked if he was thinking about suicide.
We all have a role in preventing suicide. Know the warning signs. They may not seem like themselves, be depressed, withdrawn, stressed, agitated, or talking about suicide. Call, text, or chat 988 for 24/7 support. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I got to fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SAFE25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SAFE25 for 25.
We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Pulling through our final segment here as Brandon Vogel joins the show. Schmidt gets his headphones in.
Yes, Andrew from Chicago. He and his buddy Joel in from Chicago. They've never been to Lincoln. Now they're Michigan guys, but I told them about doing the red beer, and they did it.
Did they enjoy?
They loved it.
Okay. Look at Schmidt spreading the word.
Brandon Vogel is staring through my soul. Where do you come out, Vogues, on red beer?
Not a tomato juice guy. Never. So
That
never
is a
had
no.
one. Never will. Never will.
Okay. Well, you've got all sorts of thumbs up. Tiger Shark is saying, look at Vogues' library. Let's talk about writing this story today, Vogues, for Nebraska.
I like that.
And Michigan here. We've laid it out. We talked about the topic of procrastination way back when we started this pregame. And it's time to stop putting it off if you're Nebraska for a ranked win at home. And it's time to stop putting it off to get off to one of those starting conference play. All those things are true. But, Vogues, this is also a box checker, isn't it, for Nebraska when it comes to changing that discussion point about what this Nebraska football program is versus what it used to be, because that's always floated on into the atmosphere, and Matt Rhule's trying to change the then versus now.
Yeah, he is. I mean, box checking is a good way to look at it, I think. Like, the game looks really even. Like, it should be a great, well-contested game. I think the thing that I'm still waiting to see from Nebraska is, like, can you go out there? I mean, I guess we saw it against Colorado a year ago. Can you do it again? Can you go out there and just take the fight to a team where it's a game that should be pretty much even, but just go out there and be like, no, you know what? We're done with this. Like, we're going to come out with an extreme amount of effort, and we're playing at home, and this is an opportunity. And it looks that way because you see that a lot in college football. Syracuse came out and did it to Clemson in the first half, and that was on the road. We haven't seen it quite often enough from Nebraska yet to make me think that they're a team that's quite there, but they could take a pretty big step today.
It's Brandon Vogel with us here, a pregame edition of the Average Joe Sports Show. We're taking you up to 2 o'clock here, getting you all set for Nebraska and Michigan. And Brandon, one of the things we were just talking about with Mark, if you're taking the fight to Michigan, are you taking the ball first? Or are you sending your defense out there? On one hand, the defense that lets your crowd get juiced up, lets them get loud. But the downside potentially being Michigan, if they can do what they do, it's a 13, 14-play drive going 75 yards, taking a whole bunch of time off the clock. It takes the crowd right out of it. You send your offense out there, Dylan Ryola, what that team can do, go give yourself a chance to take 7 points and put that up on the board. What are you doing first if you get the option here, if you want to take the fight to Michigan?
Yeah, I always like taking the ball as a sort of mission statement. That said, in the game where the lines basically indicates a toss-up, I think the prudent thing to do is to defer and give yourself the hope of doubling up. I mean, when I looked at this game, like I could absolutely see it being a 17-14 game, but I actually think it'll be a little bit higher scoring than that. So could be a little bit back and forth. So if Nebraska wins the toss and gets the choice, I don't think there's a bad way to go. And this one, and maybe this isn't taking the fight. Maybe this is me being conservative and safe. Like I'd give myself the kind of card up the sleeve of deferring and taking it in the second half.
Brandon Vogel with us, and we're talking strategy here. Folks, give me your take on Ernest Hausman. And does he kind of leave his mark today? This is a unique situation. This guy, we love Hausman. I love his story and his perseverance. You may not love him as a Nebraska fan today because he's damn good.
That he is leads the team in tackles, and it's been kind of I mean, you include the Nebraska year, and then what he's done at Michigan with some really, really good defenders around him. It's been sort of that classic progression you hope to see of a guy just gets a little bit better each year, and was already a really good player, a good enough player to play well as a true freshman at Nebraska. That was his departure. You always expect some when you make a coaching change. And that one just kind of felt like trains passing. Like it didn't quite link up for whatever reason there, because he'd be a player you'd certainly love to have in Lincoln. But yeah, I think you'll notice him today, because every time I watch Michigan, I notice him, and it's not just because he used to be at Nebraska. He's a really good player, and it'll be interesting to see, in terms of what Nebraska does in the run game. Like I think they'll try it, and there's been nothing from Emmett Johnson so far that makes you indicate like he could have a big game. Like that wouldn't shock me at all. This is the toughest defense Nebraska's faced to this point without much competition.
Folks, what's your take on the Michigan wide receiving core? A lot of hoopla made about Bryce Underwood. It's been made about Justice Haynes, about the offensive line. Folks, when I look at the chain here on offense, I go to the weakest link, and that's the Michigan wide receiving core. They're not particularly proficient separating down the field. I don't love the way they separate intermediate routes and deeper concepts. What's your take on them? Is this a wide receiving core that can pose Nebraska's secondary a problem, or do you think that by and large that Nebraska's secondary is going to dominate that matchup?
I mean, I would make Nebraska's secondary a certain favorite there, but based on what they've done, and to your point, Justice, just like it's always bizarre to me because Michigan, even over its recent stretch, like you look back at it, and for a team that's been as good, won 3 straight Big Ten titles and a national title, like never quite has the singular receivers that you see for a team that typically does that. And they tried to address some of that through the portal a little bit this year, but still, there's not one of those guys there that they're all dangerous. Like they're all Big Ten football players at Michigan, but you just circle and be like, you could do an A+ job as a defender, and that guy's still going to win some of the time. Like that's not what we have here. So it becomes. It's why I highlighted in my preview on Thursday, like Nebraska has to be able to devote resources to and stop the run. Like if they're going to win this game defensively, it's by testing a true freshman quarterback who's really good, and to your point, making Michigan's wide receiver group be better than a Nebraska secondary that's been really good so far. That only happens if you can slow down that run game, because I think that's probably where Michigan starts, and if it doesn't have to end there, it won't.
If you're in passing downs, Brandon, do you try to get after Bryce Underwood from a defensive line point of view? Let's say Nebraska is able to get Michigan to a 3rd and 7. Do you get after him, or do you drop back and just try to keep him in the pocket with as dangerous as he is with his legs? I mean, I think he wants to be a pocket passing quarterback, but to flip that around, Nebraska's secondary is the strength of their defense. Do you encourage that, just keep him in the pocket and say, we think our secondary is better than your wide receiver core and your quarterback?
Yeah, I think early on, I would see what the ladder looks like when you get into those passing downs of like Nebraska's been aggressive. Its blitz rate's been up so far this year over the Tony White years, but this might be one where, given his running ability, it could hurt you more than it could help you. So I'd say let's find out. Let's just try to defend the pass the way Nebraska has all season. You'll be a little cautious. You'll try to keep Underwood in the pocket and say, hey, we've covered everybody really well. Your true freshman, your second road start, a really good true freshman again, but make the right reads, make the right choices, and see what happens there. Because I kind of look at it early on, unless it's proven to be a problem. Like if he starts out and he's hitting all the throws, and you're like, oh, he's on today. Potential for a turnover or a takeaway is greater than a sack.
Brendan Vogel with us here, the Average Joe Sports Show weekend edition, as we're here at Salt Mine City Brewing Company, 801 R Street, winding down pregame coverage. It's been just electric. So many folks have come by. So many folks are milling around and heading to the stadium here as kickoff looms. Nebraska and Michigan at 2:30, a little bit after that, and then Real Red Reaction follows at 6-ish for Nebraska, Michigan. Our thoughts on KFOR, KFORnow.com. Many of you in the stream are gearing up with the food. Tiger Shark has 2 beers and 20 wings in hand. Cranack gives the thumbs up with the IPA options here at Salt Mine City. Mark Spindler has done the Spindler Bloody Mary review and gave the Bloody Mary a 7.3, and it's going to be an annual thing that Spindler does with us on the pre-games. Folks, you brought in coordinators to be difference makers. Dana Holgerson, real deal. John Butler, his NFL pedigree. And, of course, you've got, Mad Max, right? The Psycho Man in a great loving way, of course, with Eckler. We all kind of point to special teams being maybe a difference today. The quarterbacks are a storyline, the lines of scrimmage for sure. I know we've hit all of it. But how about Matt Rule? Matt Rule and his 3rd rodeo now of a rebuild, a relaunch, a rejuvenation. Talk to me about your thoughts with Matt Rule and what his message will be today, because his message has been right, Bud, about the here and now, the day-by-day part. But he also gets the narrative and the reality about what today can do.
Yeah, this matchup's really interesting on a number of fronts, and I think kind of the motivation angle. Not that either team is like, oh yeah, we don't care about this game. Like both teams, it's the Big Ten opener, but you look at it from Michigan's perspective, and at 2-2, like that's significantly different than 2-1. Like at this point, everything's still on the table for for Michigan, and it's not off the table at 2-2, but you'd be like, oh, maybe this. I can't remember what they started in the preseason AP poll, but top 15. So it would be an indication of, maybe the path back to where they left off from 2023 is still a little steeper than maybe the media projected, at least. For Nebraska, I think the message is like, okay, guys, like, for those of you that have been here for all 3 years, or even those of you that just showed up for this year, like it's been building to this. Like, this is an opportunity against a ranked team towards the bottom of the top 25, but ranked on your home field. You're 3-0. You've cut through Akron and Houston Christian, all caveats acknowledged there. You got through the Cincinnati game. Now go do it. Go do it. And hopefully Nebraska wins, because if that's the case, we'll probably get a C, whatever Matt Rule said pregame, because I'm guessing that'll be the case. And like I said, I kind of identified this game in the preseason as this year's Colorado game. And Nebraska came out, and we later learned, they put their entire offseason into that game. I don't think that's the case here, because theoretically you should be further ahead in year 3 than year 2. But I'm sure there's been a lot building to this. So that's why I kind of look at this as, yeah, Michigan might have more to lose with a loss, just having won already. But I think Nebraska probably has the, motivation angle on this one of hey, go prove something. And that needs to be a factor.
Brandon Vogel with his Counter Read, counterread.com. Of course, the in-game chat with the good folks at Counter Read can help get you through the ball game. Vogues, when we talk complexion of this ball game, what does first down do for you on Nebraska's side of the ball, offensively, defensively? What does first down look like for Michigan? What's third down? And then, it is so chest heavy. And then there's also the element of just go play ball, man. Go block, go tackle, go do your thing, go do your assignment, and don't overthink it. But God, this game is a monster domino effect, a monster butterfly effect for me, with the rest of the season, the Big Ten race, the hopes and dreams and belief in the big picture. But you also have just the minute, the zoom in of, is Nebraska living in 2nd and 8 on both sides of the football or not? And that is so key, because, God, it could get really hairy for Michigan if it is 2nd and long and Nebraska's buttoned up defensively.
Yeah. I agree with you on the butterfly effect, and the butterfly effect within this game. This is true to a certain degree for every game, but I think particularly so here, starts on first down. So it'll be real easy, I think, to get an early sense of which way things are going. Michigan averages over 6 yards a rush on first down. It's going to run the football. So are they in 2nd and 4 continually? And Justice Haynes has 38, 40 yards after the first quarter. Probably not the way Nebraska needed that to go. Now, when the Huskers have the ball, they've been about 50-50 run pass on all downs. But on first down, they're about 54% pass. So that's how they've kind of opened things. That's how they stay on schedule. It gives them options on second down. And they've completed over 80% of those. So it's been, we talk about Holgorsen and where it came from, that's as air raidy as they look. Even if the plays aren't air raid or the formations, they're throwing it often. They're picking up 5-6 yards, completing a high percentage. And then it's then the dominoes start to fall. Then you can go. So watch that Nebraska completion percentage early on. Are they getting the gains? Are they getting into second and manageable, second and short? It'll be, and that's what games like these are. It's a conference game, 2 good teams, a tight line. These little nuances are kind of what decide these, because it's how you lean on your opponent. Big plays are great. Turnovers change games. All that stuff is tough to account for. This is like, how much pressure are you putting on the opposing defense?
Brendan Vogel is with us here as we preview Nebraska and Michigan, the Average Joe Sports Show. A little under an hour from kickoff between Nebraska and Michigan. And Brandon, as you talk about Dana Holgorsen, you talk about the offense, something I brought up. Do you think Nebraska needs to attack down the field through the air in order to go win this football game? And I come at that from the angle of it changes what Michigan wants to do defensively if you're attacking down the field. Maybe Wink Martindale feels a little less comfortable bringing the blitzes he likes to bring. Is that going to be a factor today? Does Nebraska need to attack downfield?
Yeah, it might. So Michigan's lost, 6 times under Sharon Moore, the Sharon Moore era, I think. All but one of those teams average more than 6.8 yards per pass or more. And, against Cincinnati, Nebraska was a full yard short of that. So you could say, dink and dunk, take what's there. You can move the football that way. And you can. But I don't know if it's enough this time to beat a Michigan. So you're going to need some of those shots. Ryola's going to need time for those shots. That's the other piece of this is, I kind of look at Nebraska's ability to throw the football as its biggest advantage offensively. But they're also going to get some pretty darn good pass rushers. Can they protect Dylan Ryola? Because there have been instances over the first 3 games where that hasn't looked as great as I think you'd hope it would look from a Nebraska perspective. So, they probably need to challenge Michigan downfield a bit. But that's also kind of a health check of, can they drop back and do that and do some of those long running plays?
Folks, I'm going to ask the arrogant question here, and I'll go out and be brave. Let's say Nebraska wins this game. Is this a warning shot to the rest of college football to say, hey, they've kind of gotten over the hump, they're getting things together, Matt Rule year 3? If Nebraska goes out, they handle their business, they win this game in a buttoned-up fashion, is this a warning shot to the rest of college football to say, hey, the Giant might be waking up?
I think particularly if they do it in the buttoned-up fashion. If it looks like, yep, they just went out, they outplayed them, it wasn't a 4-turnover game, it wasn't anything like that, they were better, they beat Michigan. That would be an indication of, like I said, something we haven't seen enough of from Nebraska against an opponent like this. So I think it would. And I mean, if they win, they'll go into the top 25. Michigan will drop out. You would assume, and you'll see where you go from there. But Nebraska would draw a lot of attention, and I think it would be further indication. Everyone came in being like, Matt Rule year 3, Matt Rule year 3, and that's not based on nothing. This would kind of be a warp zone for that sort of talk.
Brandon Vogel with us here, Average Joe Sports Show, weekend edition, pregame winding down as Nebraska and Michigan kick off here in a little less than an hour. We're here at Salt Mine City Brewing. Trevor and Nicole stopping by, Vogues. It's nice to see them. Vogues, we need to tell folks about Counter-Read, how they can get signed up and get a subscription locked in.
Yeah, head to counterread.com. That'll get you pointed in the right direction. It's a newsletter from myself and Aaron Sorensen, where your inbox is about 4 times a week. 2 of those are subscriber exclusive. Check out the great stuff that we do. We've got our live game day chat going on for our paid subscribers. So it's a pretty fun place to be on game days. So head over to counterread.com, check that out, and that'll get you pointed in the right direction.
Brandon, one more quick question for you.
Big Red Air Force is in action.
I was told F-16s for the flyover. It feels a little early for a flyover, so unsure what that's all about. Man, they are loud, though. I love the sound of jets. I'm all distracted now. Wow. I'm not sure. Is that coming through in the stream? Can you guys hear the jets coming over? It's pretty powerful, impressive sounding. But Brandon, do you have anything on?
It's like Elijah running sprints. That's
not impressive at all. Wow, that is impressive. Anything on the smoker? Anything on the grill today, Brandon?
No, not yet. Had a pretty regular Saturday, so my game day started about the time I hopped on with you guys. Went to the library with the kids, so
good man.
Got that done. That's the library. Saturday library has replaced Saturday smoker for the most part, unfortunately.
Is this a white wine and cheese kind of day, considering you're playing Michigan?
And no, it's in Lincoln. It's to Schmitty's point. It's a Red Beer Day, so we'll save that for Ann Arbor.
Vogues, Nebraska is Jack Daniels. That's the label. That's the alcohol equivalent of Nebraska football, or Nebraska in the Big Ten is Jack Daniels, the old standard. White wine, does that fit Michigan?
I mean, I think that's kind of the reputation. So it is a college football blue blood. So maybe like port, something even a little bit fancier, but old worldy. We had this port sitting here since Bo Schembechler was coach.
I had a 20-year age port at my house. Not to sound too highfalutin here,
Look at you.
It was
Sweater vest
incredible.
time.
That is a dessert wine. It is fantastic.
Vogues, we love you, brother. We'll get caught up soon. We'll see how it shakes out today, okay?
All right, guys, have fun.
There he is. Nicole has joined us. Trevor is here as well.
Trevor, get in here.
Say hi, Trevor. Former Husker, defensive lineman. Nicole, how you feeling today?
I am feeling optimistic.
Okay. Or if we're going to go to the sports book, are you betting on Nebraska?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trevor, how about you?
There's a headset there for you if you want
a
it.
headset if you want it. And half of a Mark Spindler Bloody Mary.
Tempting.
Hold on, let me fix that.
There we go.
I am less optimistic, but that's usually the case in our marriage, so it's just typical.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Thoughts on the defensive line for Nebraska, Trevor?
I think they have some potential in there. Yeah, we'll see. I feel like we've had 3 warm-up games, so it's really hard to have a test, but we'll know where we stand today for sure.
That's a reasonable man. We'll see. We will see at 2:30.
We'll see. Awesome. You guys are being summoned apparently over to the embassy.
I heard.
Okay.
Yes.
I got you. Well, you guys are
Go
awesome.
Big Red.
Get a drink, relax,
Yes.
and we'll see you soon.
Thank
All right.
you.
Good to see you.
Justice, how much time are we looking at here before we have to get out?
Right in a minute.
We're right at 60 seconds left here.
60 seconds.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I would like to change my prediction.
You're going Nebraska.
I'm going to change my prediction.
It doesn't count.
I know. 34-20 Nebraska.
Higher scoring. I'm at 31-24 Nebraska. I think if Nebraska wins this football game, Nebraska has to be buttoned up, but Dylan Ryola is going to be your MVP. I think Dylan Ryola has his national coming out party. I was watching a couple podcasts last night, a couple preview shows. The amount of conversation about Bryce Underwood, considering what Dylan Ryola has done this season, was almost sickening to me. Dylan Ryola is going to show folks that he needs to be respected in college football today if Nebraska is to win this football game.
This is the culmination of Matt Rule's plan, his progress, and the buy-in and belief where guys play within themselves. Justice, a final take, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not changing my prediction one bit. They better prove me wrong. It's 31-24 Michigan until proven otherwise.
There's a disappointed look on the face. Mr. Rumplemans is here. Scott says, what's up? All right, we are back here. Real Red Reaction at 6 tonight here from Salt Mine City Brewing.